Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Town of Cedar Lake Utility Board public meeting for December 17th, 2024. Will you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Meeting is called to order at 6:05 p.m. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan.
Here.
Julie Rivera.
Here.
Chuck Becker.
Here.
Greg Parker.
Here.
Mary Jo Dixon.
Here.
Richard Thiel.
Here.
Nick Recupero.
Here.
I am present. Jeff Bungie.
Present.
David Austin.
Present. Thank you. We'll move on to new business. First, I'd like to amend the agenda. I'd like to have a motion to amend the agenda to add resolution number 1363 for consideration. So moved.
I'll second it.
Here we have a motion made by Mr. Thiel, seconded by Mr. Parker. Roll call.
Robert Carnahan.
Yes.
Julie Rivera.
Yes.
Chuck Becker.
Yes.
Greg Parker.
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon.
Yes.
Richard Thiel.
Yes.
Nick Recupero.
Yes, motion carries 7-0. This was an item that was recently approved by the town council and needed approval as well by the utility board. Attorney Austin, do I need to elaborate on that, or you've taken action already?
No, it was referred to the council, and you've identified it accurately.
Okay, all right. This was pertaining to the permits being released for Railside Business Park as well as Lakeview Business Park?
Yes.
Okay. If there's no discussion, we need a motion to approve resolution number 1363.
So moved.
A motion by Ms. Dixon, second by Mr. Becker to approve. Any discussion?
Yes. Where's this resolution at?
We approved it.
Yeah, but I don't have it in, do I have it in the package?
We amended the agenda.
Oh, I don't have that, so.
Okay.
The very last item on,
I've got 3 different utility packages here, and
This, yeah, Bob, this was the one that we approved back in,
November 19th.
okay, Jennifer's on the ball. November 19th, the council did.
read by title only.
Does it need to be read by title, Attorney Austin?
You should do that so it's identified more.
Okay, all right. Bob, do you need any more clarification, or you want the iPad?
Not mine.
okay.
You good, Bob?
All right,
Okay.
thank you. Parker, would you like to read that?
Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, resolution number 1363. A resolution of the town council of the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana regarding specific development approvals and authorizations for same and certain matters related thereto.
Thank you, sir. If there's no more discussion, the motion by Ms. Dixon, seconded by Mr. Becker, still stands? Yes. Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan.
Yes.
Julie Rivera.
Yes.
Chuck Becker.
Yes.
Greg Parker.
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon.
Yes.
Richard Thiel.
Yes.
Nick Recupero.
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Number 1, approval of the minutes from November 19, 2024. If there's no discussion, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from November 19th.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Becker, seconded by Mr. Thiel to approve the minutes from November 19, 2024. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan.
Yes.
Julie Rivera.
Yes.
Chuck Becker.
Yes.
Greg Parker.
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon.
Yes.
Richard Thiel.
Yes.
Nick Recupero.
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 2, West Side Sanitary Sewer Interceptor Project 1, change order number 1, final, in the amount of $3,863,634.08. Mr. Simpson.
Good evening,
Hi.
Mr. President.
Hello.
Yeah, this is the final change order for the West Side Sanitary Sewer Interceptor Project 1. This is a balancing of quantities from the contract amount versus what was actually installed, and this is a reduction in the amount of $31,216.37 for the project.
And it started out at $3,894,850.45, so it's good to hear it's a reduction.
That's correct, yes.
But the next one will play a different part.
All right. Any other discussion on this item or questions for Neil? Not that we have a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Ms. Dixon, seconded by Mr. Becker to approve this change order number 1 final. Any discussion? Roll call?
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 3, West Side Sanitary Sewer Interceptor Project 1, pay request number 11, final, in the amount of $125,000.00.
Nick, this follows the previous item, which is the release of retainage, following the completion of all of the punch list items, and then review with the contractor of their as-bills. And that retainage amount is $125,000, and the contract being, as mentioned earlier, was $31,000 and change under budget.
Okay.
Any questions?
Any other closeout items for this project?
We're working with the contractor. They've submitted all the as-bills. We've reviewed them and approved them. We've requested additional information that's supplemental to what they have already submitted and what's required, and they've agreed to submit those as well.
Okay.
So it's additional too, but will assist with beginning on Project 2, which will be discussed later under update discussion items.
Very good. Thank you.
So after we took the $31,216.37 off and total completed and stored to date is $3,863,634.08, and amount previously paid is $3,738.64.08. So this is $125,000. Is this the final payment?
This is the final payment, final pay request for this project, yes.
All right.
All right, very good. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Rivera, to approve the final pay request for the West Side Sanitary Sewer Interceptor Project Phase 1 in the amount of $125,000. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Number 4, current water capacity needs planning discussion. I'm not sure we have too much more to report on that right now.
We're working on a master plan.
Yeah, we are working on a master plan.
And what's the timeline on that?
When last I talked with Don, he said I think he said it would be after the first of the year sometime. I don't know if anybody's had that discussion with Don too to verify that, but
That's what I was thinking.
Was there some kind of...
Nick, it's Kevin Baldwin from Steve-O.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Oh, hey, Kevin. Yeah, I forgot you're with us. How are you?
I'm very good. That is correct. That is the idea, is to try and get it at the beginning of the year, is for the master plan for that.
Okay.
And then we've got to turn that into the Indiana Department of Environmental Management?
That's the first thing we
Correct.
want.
And that's more for the updates for later. I don't know if you want me to jump into that now, Nick, or later on for that discussion we had with item today.
Sure, you can go ahead and bring that up now, Kevin.
Sure. We had met with Stan Diamond and representatives from IDEM this morning to check in with them and to give status reports on all 3 of the permits that are currently involved with Paradise Cove and Robin's Nest. And so they are aware that we're trying to finalize those pieces, trying to get at least the Robin's Nest discussions finalized at the end of this week. We had found out the contractor that's on board is Downey Mechanical, and we have worked with them in the past and have since talked to them today to try and get sketches of what their proposed improvements are for Robin's Nest, which is one of the requests from Stan Diamond at IDEM to submit in that information with the permit for Robin's Nest so we can move that one forward and to get those things moving on. So that's really the quick update on that front.
Question. I heard that they want us to resubmit another permit, a new permit, or is that true?
Technically true, yes. It's because of the wells for Robin's Nest that are already at 25 horsepower. How it is officially is that we are submitting after the fact, and so really it's the same permit twice, and that's some of the details just so that they have their record set and to also have the information for Paradise Cove too. So yes, that is correct. It's just that a permit that we've already filled out.
And it seems like we keep submitting things, and they just keep asking for more and more, and we try to respond, and it doesn't seem to please them.
Hence our meeting this morning with them is what we wanted to get directly from Stan of what we wanted to get some clarifications and verbalize to him today, and to get official marching orders of after his requests are done, that should be it. So yeah, you are correct that things keep coming up, but that's why we wanted to be with them and just finish where we're at about the 9-yard line right now.
And also, once this permit is finally approved, we'll have a 45-day waiting period, correct?
That's my understanding too for public comments, and so that's why we want to get that moving right now. And so that's really Stan is aware of all of the discussions we've had already, and for what's coming up in the preliminary engineering report for this whole system. So he's well aware of all the sequencing pieces that are happening. It's just really get the finalizing of the paperwork right.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the water side?
I think we're okay, Kevin, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to written report, fund report, clerk treasurer, Ms. Sandberg.
The cash and expenditure reports were previously sent out to you all, so I have nothing further.
Okay, thank you. Consultants and staff reports, engineer Neal.
Sanitary sewer, as was under items 2 and 3, those have been discussed, and then under 7.1, we'll discuss that at that time. And water, I think, is been covered.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any questions for Neal? Okay, we'll move on to Director of Operations, Mr. Kubiak.
I have nothing further, just trying to get them permits finished, so
Okay,
it's happening.
very good. Thank you. Town Attorney Austin.
No reports.
Thank you. Number 7, update discussion on West Side Sewer Interceptor Phase 2.
So since the last meeting, we have submitted the permit to IDEM. We are waiting on Lowell to sign the capacity letter. I spoke with Rich earlier today, and I talked with Don Woodard, the operator for Lowell, and he's going to take care of that and send it back to us. Essentially, the capacity letter says there's 0 gallons going into this interceptor because there's no connections. It's to serve areas upstream to the north and west. So all of the potentially affected persons list, the IDEM permit that's signed by Jeff and myself, the plans and specifications, and the fee have all been submitted to IDEM as of Wednesday last week. So we are waiting for their initial review. We would expect that in the next few weeks. More than likely early January due to the Christmas and New Year's holiday coming up. But contacting the IDEM reviewer on Friday of last week, she didn't see any issues initially off what we had submitted on Wednesday last week.
Good news.
Any questions?
I have none, Neal.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 2, Lake County JICA for Eastside Water Development, $650,000. Jennifer, is there anything you need from us on this item? Are we pretty,
I mean, you're pretty much,
it's all kind of,
I'd say it's honestly moving as you're waiting for your final responses back from IDEM regarding Robin's Nest, Paradise Cove. I'm sure Mr. Kubiak has plenty of uses between those two facilities for the entirety of the funds.
do we need to even have this on the agenda anymore, or you pretty much got all the money spent, Tim?
I think so. I mean, there was some other monies from the leftover money from the water main extension also, so, I mean, we're trying to figure out the best way to do it, and then we're still trying to get some of the Xylem billing from the new upgrade stuff straightened out so we can get that stuff paid, so. Probably not a bad idea just to, I mean, it's up to Jennifer, I guess she's the one,
Well, we'll keep,
she's the one that,
if it's not hurting anything, we'll keep it on. If there's any updates or discussion needed, we can do that.
Do we got a time deadline on it?
As far as I am aware, no, the
No.
JICA did not stipulate a
I've asked
date.
that before, but I just wanna
Yeah.
hear it again.
Okay. All right. We'll move on to 8, JMOB report.
We received, the agenda for the meeting that's this Thursday at 6 o'clock in Lowell. I just had a couple of concerns with, basically, I don't know if we need to reach out to Craig Hendricks before the meeting, because of all of our requests from the last 2 true-ups did not make their way to the agenda. Not surprised.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we make the request or make the request and also bring it up at that time. I definitely think we need to bring it up at that meeting, but why it's not on there, it was received. I received an email, we received it.
Maybe
Bring it up.
request through email.
I think, the question it for sure through email. I did not do it today. I figured we had the utility board, we would discuss it as a council. I can shoot an email, back to Mr. Hendricks asking for explanation as to why. Even if it doesn't make its way on there, I'm sure it will be discussed.
Oh, I'm sure. And it should be.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
Rich, were you copied on those agenda topics?
We received the agenda.
That's it.
That is it.
So you didn't receive the documentation that backs up each point?
Nor was there a, JMOB pre-meeting like, from what I understand, usually happened in the past.
I'd recommend that you ask for the backup documentation for each agenda item that's being presented also.
And did we get copies of that agenda, Rich?
No, and it was quite odd, because I did forward it, on to, Neil and to, Attorney Austin, because they were not copied in it. However, their attorney was, and, their new,
Can you copy all of us?
yes, I can, forward that to you guys as well, so.
Thank
yeah.
you.
And that meeting's to be held the 19th of December
Yes.
at
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
At 6 o'clock in Lowell.
Okay.
So Dave, I was in the middle of writing, you said back up for the,
All the supporting material for each agenda item that's identified.
thank you.
All right. Anything new to report on JMOB, Ms. Dixon or Mr. Teal? Or anybody else?
Can't report on nothing.
Stay tuned.
The agenda
Stay tuned.
seems more professional. I will state that. Then,
That's a good sign.
well, yeah, it does have, possible dates already figured out for all the meetings for next year, 4 meetings, and it also has, discussion for dispute professionals, which,
We're
yeah,
getting somewhere.
better late than never.
Maybe they're anticipating.
Maybe.
All right, thank you. We'll move on, we'll open the floor up for public comment for the utility board. Public comment for the utility board? Neil?
Do I have to state my name and address?
You-
There was one item I failed to mention earlier, and I sent that out to you, Nick, I believe earlier today or late yesterday, was the SRF did approve the Crystal Oaks change order 2 final for the elevated tower, and they are proceeding with closeout, which Sue is working with them on the funds that were remaining for not only that project for the tower, but for the east side transmission main that Tim had mentioned earlier, to reappropriate those funds as you see fit.
Okay. I did see that email. I apologize for not responding. I know it was addressed to a past town council president.
That is correct.
Jennifer, do you need me to forward that email over to you, or?
No, I think I was copied on it.
You were? Okay. Okay.
I have another question
Okay. Yes, sir.
about, we're trying to locate, a well location on the west side. Is there any movement with that?
So I don't know if we have any movement, if you've talked with Don about anything more, but what I asked Don to do is I said, we need, being that he was handling this, or Kevin and Don, I don't know if Kevin, you were aware of this, but I asked Don to put together some kind of proposal and timeline for us with costs of how we start moving forward on this with a little bit more order. Really before any money's spent, something that the utility board can consider.
That is part of the discussion for the PER for this and how the sequencing's gonna go for this piece. So yes, that is part of what we're trying to figure out as the timings for all.
Okay.
So that's part of the master plan?
It has to be.
Yes, that is certainly on our prioritization of how we want to proceed with each of these pieces.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bob. All right, last call for public comment for utility board. Nobody wants to chime in online, Ms. Sandberg?
No hands are raised.
Okay. Public comment's now closed. Our next meeting will be held Tuesday, January 21st, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. RDC will follow here at 6:30. This meeting is now adjourned at 6:26 p.m.
All right, I'd like to call the special redevelopment commission meeting for December 17th, 2024 to order at 6:30. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Can I get a roll call, please?
Robert Carnahan.
Here.
Nick Recupido.
Here.
Greg Parker.
Here.
Mary Jo Dixon.
Here.
Julie Rivera.
Here.
Chuck Becker.
Here.
Richard Beal.
Here.
Tracy Haskell is absent. Tim Vetsar is absent. I am present. Jeff Bungie.
Present?
David Austin.
Present.
And Cheryl Heideg is absent.
Thank you. Item number 1, this is a public hearing, amending declaratory resolution number 2024-03-RDC, plan amendments for the consolidated Cedar Lake 133rd Avenue Economic Development Area. Attorney Austin, are legals in order?
All legals are in order.
Thank you. Do you want to take the opening remarks on this, or?
I can. You, as a council and your Plan Commission and Redevelopment Commission, have each identified the SourceSafe property project parcel on Route 41, south of 135th, where storage buildings presently are located, and more are promised to come. You identified this area to connect to the current existing 133rd Consolidated TIF District, to add that parcel to the area, the allocation area. And the reason you did that is because there will be an increase in base assessed value over the current existing assessed value when the improvements are made on that property as promised. It's a developer-driven project. It's a commercial project with storage units. It will have a change in AV once the permits are pulled and occupancy issued. And that's the point in time you want to capture the increment, the difference between vacant ground and full improvement. Pretty big deal. It's been checked off by your consultants, bond financing, etc., and it's ready for your consideration tonight. You've already had the initial meeting with the Plan Commission, the Redevelopment Commission, and the Town Council. This is the end of the road on this procedure.
Would you read section 2 of that for me and give me an explanation on what that means?
This is on Resolution 2024-04 RDC, Bob?
3.
3. Oh, 3. Section 2?
Yes, please.
This is statutory language. You'll find this in 36-7-14.5, 39, B and C. You will find that these criteria are applied to a review of whether the property qualifies for or not on TIF increment capture. That's what that's about.
But it talks about gainful employment of citizens, and it sounds to me like we need to take care of businesses and everything.
Well, that's what the redevelopment statute's about. You read Title 36-7-14.5, you'll find all of this in that statute. This was considered by your consultants and your staff as this project was put together.
But we're going to make all that happen in section 2.
It's part of what will happen as a consequence of the development of the property. There'll be builders, and there'll be carpenters, and there'll be tradesmen out there doing the building and the improving of the property such that it will qualify for increment capture.
And serving to protect and increase property values in the town and the state.
Thanks, Bob. I didn't know you were going to put me through this tonight. So here's what'll happen. Thank you for doing it. I don't get to talk about this as much as I'd like. What's going to happen here is, as I just indicated, there will be improvement. The improvement does enhance the area. It'll put brand-new improvements in an area that's already partially residential and partially commercial. It's also next to and adjacent to the industrial commercial parks that are on the south side of this, and it will be a connection improvement piece to that development. It's also what's in your master planning. Your master planning identified the Route 41 corridor, and in particular these areas that are either underdeveloped, dilapidated, deteriorated. You'll see those words in the statute when you read it tomorrow. They will absolutely improve and enhance those properties and their value. They will be more valuable. They will pay more tax. You will capture more increment, and everybody wins. Nobody who pays taxes will be affected by this other than the property owner from whom the increment will be captured, the commercial business property owner. Is there anything else I can help you with?
I appreciate that, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. Moving on to, reading of resolution number 2024-03-RDC. Mr. Becker, by title only.
Thomas C. Lake County, Indiana, Redevelopment Commission, resolution number 2024-03 RDC. Resolution of the Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, Redevelopment Commission approving amendments to the declaratory resolution and consolidated economic development plan for the consolidated Cedar Lake 133rd Avenue Economic Development Area and all matters related thereto.
Thank you. Do we have any remonstrators? Any remonstrators for this item? Third time. Seeing none, remonstrator portion is closed.
Mr. President, may I add a piece? Thank you. For your information and reminder to you, this is a consolidation, an appendage of the Star Safe property to the existing town 133rd Consolidated TIF District. So this also is in absolute connection with your comprehensive plan for how the TIF district will expand and how you'll raise the funds for improvement and all the things that are talked about. So it's all logical and all connected.
And it's connected on the east and west side, correct?
It is.
And so any money generated, we can use it in any portion of that TIF district.
In the TIF district as then constituted, yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, do we have any other council discussion?
No. Would the motion be to amend the resolution number or approve this resolution?
Approve it.
Approve it? Okay. Looking for a motion, Mr. President?
Yeah, yes, I was just writing some stuff down.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-03-RDC.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve resolution 2024-03 RDC by Mr. Recupero, second by Mr. Parker. Can I get a roll call, please?
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Moving on to new business. Item 1, consideration of confirmatory resolution number 2024-04-RDC titled, A Resolution of the Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana Redevelopment Commission confirming an amendment to the declaratory resolution and the consolidated economic development plan for the consolidated Cedar Lake 133rd Avenue economic development area and all matters related thereto. Let's get to it real quick. Attorney Austin, do we need any explanation?
No, this is a companion to the previous item, and it makes the plan work, connects the properties.
Thank you. Would we still have to do by title only on this one?
Please.
Okay. Mr. Becker, please.
Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana Redevelopment Commission Resolution Number 2024-04-RDC. Resolution of the Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana Redevelopment Commission confirming an amendment to the declaratory resolution and the Consolidated Economic Development Plan for the Consolidated Cedar Lake 133rd Avenue Economic Development Area and all matters related thereto.
Thank you, Mr. Becker. Looking for a motion to approve?
I'll move.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion to approve resolution number 2024-04-RDC by Mr. Parker, seconded by Mr. Recupero. Can I get a roll call, please?
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julia Vera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. All right, moving on to public comment for redevelopment commission. Any public comment for redevelopment commission? And third call, anybody online?
No.
All right, seeing none, this is
Mr.
meeting.
President? Can I get signatures on resolutions tonight or tomorrow if possible for recording purposes?
I think tonight should be
Thank you.
good. Is it ready to be signed? I mean, do we have it?
It should be in your packet.
Yeah. Well, I don't have I'm looking at
I
one.
got you. It should be in the packet, and if it's not here, we'll get it here.
It's in the iPad.
Yeah, I can't sign the iPad.
Jennifer's got it.
Jennifer has it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, Dave. All right, this meeting is adjourned at 6:42 PM.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Town of Cedar Lake Town Council meeting for December 17th, 2024. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by an opening prayer? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Reese? You wouldn't mind please introducing yourself before prayer?
Sure. So my name's Matt Reese. I'm the lead pastor of Rise Church in Dyer. So thank you for inviting me to come and be a part of this. So
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's just pray together if we could do that. Father in heaven, we thank you for the day that you've invited each and every one of us to. We know that all the days are made by you, and what a privilege it is that we get to participate in it. And God, for our meeting tonight, we pray for wisdom and discernment. We thank you for the people who have committed to serve you in this capacity, and we pray that not only there be wisdom and discernment, but there be unity among them. God, we also pray that you would fill them with compassion and fairness to represent not only the interest of the community, but every single person who lives in it. Father, we pray for peace and safety in the community. There's so many crazy and dangerous things that are happening in the world around us. Father, we pray that you would protect this community with your hand and all those who serve it. And then, God, we just want to thank you again for those who have accepted the charge to serve you in this capacity, for that is what they are doing, not just serving the community, nor are they serving themselves, but they are stepping up to serve you and the people that you've created. And so we ask that they receive a blessing for that, and that this meeting will be absolutely guided by you. And it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
This meeting is called to order at 6:50 p.m. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Here.
Julie Rivera?
Here.
Chuck Becker?
Here.
Mary Joan Dixon?
Here.
Richard Peel?
Here.
Greg Parker?
Here.
Nick Recupido?
Here.
I am present. Jeff Fungi?
Present.
David Austin?
Present.
Thank you. We have two presentations tonight, the first one being Mary Nielsen, Cedar Lake Police Gas Mask Grant Recognition.
Mr. President, actually, it wouldn't be a problem to reverse these presentations. My grant guy, and who's part of this, is running just a few minutes late because he's actually working.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we can do that.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to Julie Sasada, the Museum at Lassen's Resort, Heart and Soul Community. Hi, Julie.
Name and address, please.
Sure.
All right, Julie Sasada, 430 West 135th Place in Cedar Lake. So excited to be back here to share with you that we have received the Community Heart and Soul Grant from the Legacy Foundation. I had come back, I think it was here in October maybe, to receive your blessing to get a letter of support. So we got the grant. As a reminder, Community Heart and Soul is a resident-driven process that engages the entire town population. So that means anyone who lives, works, and plays in this community, in identifying what they love most about Cedar Lake, what future they envision for this community, and how to achieve it. So Cedar Lake is not only the first Heart and Soul community in Lake County, we are the first Heart and Soul community in the state of Indiana. It's kind of a nice little accolade. The process, though, is proven. So National Community Heart and Soul has been engaging residents across the nation in about 120 different communities for over 10 years now. So the process is field tested. The program, the partnership between nonprofits and municipalities has a track record already. As written in our grant application, we'll be the nonprofit partner here in town working with you, the municipality, to administer this program for our community. So on the surface, I had talked about this last time I was here, it sounds a little bit similar to like the town comprehensive plan that I had, participated in back in like 07, Parks Management, and it's similar in that way, except those plans are a little bit more focused on the built environment, the physical things that kind of come out of that. Community Heart and Soul is more about the people of the town. It's, again, resident-driven. It's completely boots on the ground, hands-on, volunteer-led, and it's also about the stories of these people from the community and then the collective culture that we all share. and so elevating all of that. So the placemaking action plan that's going to come out of this is developed during the process, a 2-year process, and that's going to offer some incremental economic development to the community. The core team, the working groups that form as a part of this will conceptualize and then plan and then unite the community, bring the citizens together, and really we just want to deliver on the town's promise of explore every day. That's really what our goal is going to be over the course of these 2 years. So the action plan is going to have tangible outcomes. Examples from across the nation are things like beautification projects, community gardens, branded wayfinding signage, public art installations, community-wide events like we had the Summer Fest was started many years ago by citizens, kids activities, family concerts, Christmas lights that you might see around town, a summer backpack lunch program for food insecure families, a walk to school initiative to get people walking to school together, heritage trail enhancements, downtown revitalization efforts, of course, is a huge piece of it for the communities that have proper downtowns, ESL classes, broadband initiatives to get access to these rural communities. So it runs the gamut from what the citizens come together, band together to do for their community. So I can't predict what Cedar Lake citizens are going to, decide is going to be the output of this, but we know that it's going to be a turning point for the town. It's intended to be a spark that ignites economic engine of Cedar Lake, and again, entirely citizen-led way. So we're really excited about this. Right now, and in the first quarter of 2025, we're very much in our behind-the-scenes formative phase. Our core team is forming right now, our sub-teams, and these are going to be very much be working groups. So we'll have all these deliverables. Each, members of the team will have deliverables that they're expected to produce as part of being on these teams. And the application is open. It's live. We put it on the museum website for right now, so you can go to lassensresort.org if you're interested in volunteering on the core team, on one of the subgroups, or just popping in to help with events. Whatever capacity, you can fill all that out. But again, it's open to anyone who lives, works, or plays in Cedar Lake. So you just have to have that passion for the community, and we invite everyone to become involved. And then, on January 25th, we are hosting our Phase 1 Imagining kickoff meeting. So we'll be over at the library. It's a Saturday morning. We'll meet from about 10 to 12. And again, anyone who is interested, just because you come to that meeting doesn't mean that you have to commit. Just because you come in the beginning, you volunteer for 1 month, doesn't mean you have to help for the entire 2 years. Extremely flexible. We want to make it as easy as possible for our residents and our citizens to get involved, even the tourists that get into the community. So that will be January 25th. Again, go to the museum website, RSVP there, just so we can plan for our food needs and our chairs and all of that good stuff. But do you guys have any questions for me? That's kind of like, in a nutshell, what the program's going to consist of.
A couple of things that maybe you did mention that I'll mention is the 165 Christmas trees that the chamber has throughout the town.
That's another example.
And the Gene Everly Parade of Lights, which they had the biggest units this year that they ever had in its history.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are the types of things that can come out of this when the citizens kind of, put their minds together and decide what do we want to do, again, to improve and enhance the culture of our communities.
Very good. Great news, Julie.
Yeah, great news.
It's very exciting. So you'll see the press release going out tomorrow. The grant award is for $80,000 that is then distributed across the 2 years. We'll have that fundraising match that we're required to raise $10,000, but it gets directly invested back into the community. So once the core team is formed, we'll brainstorm where those funds could come from and, share that back with you as the municipality and let you know where that's going to be coming from, and if we need any help or anything like that, making asks and whatnot. So.
And congratulations on Cedar Lake becoming the first in Lake County and the first in the state of Indiana.
Cool.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Anyone who wants to get involved, just go to lassensresort.org. There's a link right there on the homepage. Again, the application to volunteer, the information about our meeting, the press release. It's all there, lots of links, lots of information, or call me, text me, email me, I'd be happy to share more information.
I had a question for you, Joy, so you don't have to stick around tonight, but we're gonna be considering a liaison for this position.
Yes.
First off, what would be the role of the liaison, and how soon do you need somebody appointed?
So the liaison should be appointed tonight if you can, or by January 1, because the core team needs to start meeting in the first of the year, even before that January 25th meeting. And the core team is, like I said, that we want the municipality liaison to be a part of that team. So this is the group that's going to meet, I'm not sure how often, maybe monthly, maybe every other month in the beginning, but as things ramp up the second year, it might be every month. We just don't know yet. But there will be meetings to attend. Like I said, it's very much a working group, so whoever you appoint, just be forewarned that we've got things to do.
Yeah.
But, we'll help you, we'll stay organized and we'll make it as easy as possible. If something happens and you have to appoint someone different because something comes up, that's fine.
Okay.
That's how we roll in the volunteer world. We are totally fine with that.
Okay.
So yeah, just because you appoint them now doesn't mean it's an entire 2-year commitment, if something comes up, so.
Very good.
We'll be flexible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thanks,
Okay.
Julie, we appreciate it.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yep. Chief Brittingham, are you ready, or do you want to stop?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're ready. Gonna have Corporal Chalk, our grant officer, speak on behalf of this grant.
Okay.
And Mary's here from the Crown Point Community Foundation, if she wants to step up.
You want to step up, Mary? You can step up.
Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. Good evening.
I don't know if I need to introduce myself, but Corporal Machado. This is Mary Nielsen from the Crown Point Community Foundation. This past year, we partnered, the police department partnered with the Crown Point Community Foundation and the CSX Railroad. In this partnership, we received training from CSX Railroad on railroad safety, grade crossings, and got some ideas. We also, because we participated in this training and partnered with the foundation and with the railroad, we received a grant, and it was a 50-50 matching grant for just over $6,000 to purchase gas masks, CBURN gas masks for chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear type gases. The reason why we got these gas masks is because there's 2 railroad tracks that go through the town of Cedar Lake. And they carry a lot of hazardous material in and out of the Chicagoland area. I'm sure the fire chief could probably go for it.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, and our officers didn't have any problem. They didn't have the proper equipment. The equipment we did have was outdated from the 9/11 era, and all the cartridges were off. These things are expensive, but they have a good shelf life of around 20 to 25 years. So we were able to outfit most of our department with gas masks, and the officers have them inside the patrol car. And it was thankful for we're thankful for the foundation and CSX for helping making this a possibility. We have a very good working relationship. I want to say thank you very good.
You're very welcome.
So Crown Point Foundation is going to supply the match?
They did already.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear that.
Yes, the foundation and CSX matched the grant 50-50.
Very good, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you both.
Thank you both.
Fine, we're gonna do a quick picture.
Yeah.
I just wanna add too, though, in addition to this grant, Crown Point Community Foundation is always there for us.
That's good.
This certainly isn't the first grant that they've, helped us with and, supplied us with some money to do some things. So this is just an overall thank you as well to them for their continued support. I'm sure quite everybody in this room is pretty familiar with what they do and who they are. They're great people to this community and to this part of Indiana entirely, so thank you very much.
And they've been very good to the Project Love Food Pantry, and I totally appreciate that help that you've given us.
And the fire department as well.
Thank you.
And
Well,
Kevin-
we're very proud to be able to support the community of Cedar Lake, and I'm happy to be here tonight, and a lot of great people that do so many things in the community, and we're blessed to have you. So thank you for all that you do to make this community thrive even more than it has.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And it is a community of a destination that people now want to come to.
Exactly.
When I was a kid, it wasn't like that, but I'm very proud of this community.
So are we, thank you. Excellent. Mr. Buddy here.
You want to know?
All right. Thank you all for the presentations. Number one, a public hearing would be ordinance number 1504, land public way vacation. This item was deferred 11/19. I believe this is the adopted reading. Is there any question?
It is the adopted reading, the publication of the notice, and everything is listed.
Okay, thank you. So the reviews are all good? All right. Would you mind coming up and you could give us the opening remarks there?
Okay. Good evening. My name is Glenn Boren. I'm the Director of Commercial Surveying over at DVG Team in Crown Point, Indiana. I'm here on behalf of the Lambs, who own a piece of property that's south of West 128th Lane and north of West 129th Avenue, just west of Colfax. Their petition is basically there's a 30-foot strip of land that was platted back in the early 1900s that was never developed or improved as a public way or a road. It's basically next door to the vacant land that the Lambs own, which brought about their petition tonight, which is to ask to vacate the 30-foot strip. As part of our due diligence, we contacted NIPSCO, got a letter of no objection to the vacation, as they don't have any facilities within the 30-foot strip. We did more due diligence and found out the stores are in fact running east-west in 128th Lane and 128th Avenue. They do not go through the 30-foot strip. NIPSCO, again, has their pole line and their gas running east-west, does not go through the strip. And then the storm sewer on 129th, again, it's running east-west through that area. So that was pretty much the extent of our due diligence and the petition before you tonight.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we'll get a reading of ordinance number 1504 by title, please, Mr. Parker.
Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, ordinance number 1504. An ordinance vacating public way in the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, and all matters related thereto.
Thank you, sir. We'll open the floor up to remonstrance. Anybody here for 1504, for or against? Second call. Last call and nobody online, Ms. Amber?
No hands are raised.
Okay. We'll close remonstrance. Town council discussion. Go ahead, Bob.
On 128th Lane, as I said before, I have concern about the residents that live west of this vacated property that may be vacated. If a fire was ever to happen, that area would be an area that could be used for people to escape from 128th Lane over to 129th Avenue. So that's my concern.
Okay. Chief Wilkening, last time we talked, as far as for firefighting and...
We have that, adequate room for apparatus to get in and out.
Okay, very good.
But once we get in there, people are gonna be staying there.
Yeah,
So
okay.
we're gonna have to wait.
Okay. All right, anything new come up, Tim, on this, or we're all still
No, that
good?
thing's on the side of, I mean, you couldn't get out of there, I mean, it's on the side of that slope, and there's nothing there. I mean, I don't foresee, with the topography and the terrain, there's no way to ever put a road there, or, I mean,
Okay.
it's just pretty much, I mean, if somebody's gonna utilize it for a yard or something, it's best use.
Just that the whole area's been reconstructed, and if it was gonna get improved, it should've got improved then.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah, and it's...
We spent too much, we spent over $200,000 more than what we had available, so we couldn't do any more.
Well, I doubt it's gonna happen in the next 50 to 75 years, even if it was to remain a public way. And again, the topography is so fierce over there.
Even if you did get the road going all the way up the hill, you would never have the north-south road would never be put in there, because it's on a slope. Pretty big slope. You would need 4 lots either way to flatten out, in order to make a road in there, so you couldn't do it in 30 feet.
All right. Is there any more discussion on this item? If not, is there a motion for 1504?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Adopt, I'm sorry.
We have-
Motion to adopt.
All right,
I'll
thank you.
second.
We have a motion by Mr. Teal, seconded by Mr. Becker, to adopt ordinance number 1504, land public way vacation. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
No.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Hill?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 6-1. We'll open the floor to public comment on agenda items only. Public comment on agenda items only. Last call for public comment on agenda items only. Public comment on agenda items is now closed. Consent agenda, number 1, minutes, November 7th, 2024, and November 19th, 2024. 2 claims, all town funds, $368,466.61. Wastewater operating, $160,980.91. Water utility, $39,789.46. Stormwater, $8,446.09. Payroll, December 5th, 2024, $412,894.25. And November remittances, $209,101.18. Number 3, manual journal entries from November 1st to November 30th, 2024. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Not, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Ms. Dixon, seconded by Mr. Becker to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'm just lifting this up, I've done this in the past and I want to do it again, to say that the low sewer sinking fund is $42,897.88. And then the low sewer works, December estimated charges of $92,854. And those are the only 2 charges on there, right, Jen?
Yes, sir.
All right, and I'm just lifting that up to let everybody know what we have to pay to Low, and we'll always have the possibility of a true-up at the end of the year.
Yeah. Well, mid-year
Yeah.
is what I'm gonna say now.
We're supposed to get it in
We're supposed to
March, and we didn't get it till like August.
Yeah, the last few years, we don't get it till summer, and then you usually see that in your, I think it was August this year when we had the true-up calculation for the capital and estimated charges.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Bob. All right, we have a motion and a second. We had discussion. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Hill?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Moving on to ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance number 1506, salary ordinance year 2025. This item was deferred on December 3rd. I guess I could introduce this. We've had a lot of talks about this a lot recently. We are working on, and this might not be ready by the end of the year, but we were working seriously on public safety improvements as far as salaries go. I don't think, Jennifer, we talked about this last night, that may not be ready until right after the first of the year.
And no, just because we were only notified within the last week to begin working on that project, so we need a little more time with it being the end of the year and bonds closing this week, final payrolls to complete, and with the 2 holidays in between, there's just no way to properly analyze everything and have something on paper in front of you guys to consider.
Tonight, yeah.
We want to make sure that if we were to present anything to you, that we had a proper revenue source that would be sustainable in order to handle whatever is proposed regarding salaries and wages.
Okay. So, yeah, it's kind of twofold. We have some work, I think, Rich, you and I talked about, we have some work to do, and Dave, you can probably chime in on this too, with the salary ordinance, the way it's presented now. And then more than likely, there will be an amendment after the first year if we can tighten up things with the public safety wages and a sustainable flow of revenue for that.
Yeah, absolutely. What is before you tonight contemplates exactly what we had discussed during the budget process, which was a 3% increase across the board. So, if that moves forward, then we can do that, and then you can always amend next year for anything related to public safety or whatever else the council's pleasure.
Okay.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
So can we be assured on the record that the minimum increase will be 3%? And that's the foundation against which Jennifer, consultant staff are working to assess and identify additional funds for greater increase? Is that a fair conclusion?
Well, in some aspects, there will not be a 3% raise. Let's say, I'll take the council, for instance. We're not seeking an increase, so.
I get it. I guess maybe for our employees.
Yes.
And for.
So, but just to be clear, everyone but the council will get at least a 3% raise, correct?
No.
Well, and then we did not have the executive session to have all this discussion, and the problem is, to have that openly right now, it could take a long time.
It's complicated.
It's extremely complicated.
I'm sorry, I was only looking for your record to reflect a floor. So there's no misunderstanding about the work you're doing. You're working against that. For the most, Julie, I realize the council will probably not accept an increase.
Right, but I'm saying, I just
But
want to
that's
make
normal.
sure employees, including department heads, get a 3% increase.
That's to be determined, I guess.
All I'm gonna commit to is, in my opinion, for the most part. That's all I can say, because if I could tell you for sure, then I would say, let's go ahead and just adopt this tonight, but.
Just to make it clear, if you do not adopt tonight, then your regular employees, will not see a raise. So if you want to make changes, that is 100% your prerogative as the town council.
They'll see a raise when it's adopted, correct?
They will.
But this is our only chance.
Is it our only chance, Dave?
No, you have till year end, at least, and beyond that for rank and file.
Oh, we'd have to have a special meeting to,
For a year end, probably.
yeah.
If it takes a special meeting to get it right and to make sure that we can do everything we can, I think that's the right thing to do. I mean, rushing things always causes problems. So, we need to get it right.
I mean, you can absolutely 100% have the discussion and direct that because I've heard department head mention, if you want that pulled, then just say that and we can, amend it to take that out of there.
And why can't we pass it and then amend it?
Well, because you can't, pass and give it 3% across the board if some were, and then take it away, I guess is the best way to explain it.
Best thing to do is defer this item and get it right. If we have to have a special public meeting, we have to have a special.
I think, honestly, that's the best route to handle it.
Exec session as soon as possible and get this hashed out.
And I did share, some of the thoughts and stuff, as far as the different, salaries and percentages and stuff with, Ms. Sandberg. But as far as us as a council as a whole, that has never happened. And that's an issue, because we should not be doing that until we get it figured out.
I agree.
And that's gonna require an executive session.
May have mentioned just one thing here, Corporate Thompson, Cronin Associates Financial Advisor. Hey, so if you do not, and if you have a special session before the end of the year to, approve some other ordinance, that's, great, let's do that. But when you pass the salary ordinance, that's just setting the maximum amount of pay per position. So even if you were to adopt this, that doesn't necessarily mean that anybody's authorized to receive additional pay. It's just kind of setting the maximum there. And again, for the budget, we did have a 3% increase in wages kind of set out across the board among the staff. But again, that doesn't mean they have to receive the 3% additional pay. That's just setting the maximum amount prior to any amendments that would occur in the future.
Yeah, I mean, the only comment I have on that, Mr. Thompson, is that seems a little deceiving, that we could right now say, okay, fine, we'll do 10%, 20% across the board, but that doesn't mean we have to give it.
Right, yeah, I'm just saying from a legal standpoint, when you authorize a salary and wage ordinance, it's essentially setting the maximum amount that those positions could possibly receive. Now, you know, typically that is what they're going to receive, but it doesn't necessarily mean that is what they're going to receive.
Well, the problem is it's not ready, but to your point, I think we'll be considering increases above 3%.
Yes.
In what we want to see in the salary ordinance, and we don't want to limit ourselves or those employees to that 3%.
Sure.
Again, if I can also clarify that if you approve the 3%, that is what we will move forward with, because we do have payroll really quick into the new year. And so if you do have an amendment to the salary ordinance, say
It can
come
be done then with
January,
the increase?
you absolutely we're talking public safety, so if you have above and beyond the 3%, absolutely, you amend that in the new year.
So we don't think we can schedule a special meeting by the end of the year?
Sure, we can
I
schedule
believe we
a
can.
public meeting by the end of the year.
And I think we
I
need
just
to
feel
have a
more comfortable
special
to do
meeting
that.
to deal with appointments for the boards for next year.
I agree with you.
We can wrap that up into one, Bob.
Yeah, because
We
I had
have
already
executive
talked to
session.
Nick and Rich about that.
We have an executive session so we can discuss this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I make a motion?
Sure.
Thank you.
I want to make a motion to defer ordinance number 1506.
Attorney Austin, should we have the specific date in mind for when posting for such meeting?
If you have it tonight, announcing it tonight, and then posting it is the most expedited form of notice. If not, you can certainly pick a time and have at least 48 hours notice in advance of that special meeting.
When you want to do it?
I think it needs to happen as soon as possible, because this is not, if required, if it's not a unanimous, then we're gonna need a second, right?
Correct.
Monday next week?
What time?
Monday.
23rd.
23rd, or even Friday. The 20th? Friday the 20th?
I can't do that this week. Can't do Thursday or Friday.
So if we do the 23rd, which is Monday, at what time?
We have the 26th and 27th, too.
True. I was just trying to get it in case we needed a wee room.
I could do the 26th, too. I could do the 20th or the 26th.
I would prefer the 23rd, actually, but
If we can get it ready in time.
Okay.
There is work to do.
Yes.
And both staff and you all will have things to do with this.
I'll amend my motion. You want it the 23rd, Rich?
If that works for everyone.
I'll amend my motion to defer this item until the 23rd.
Instruction for staff to post for a special meeting?
Yes.
Greg, do you have a time in mind?
I think if we're gonna have an executive session, 6, make it 7.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, plenty of time for Julie to make it.
She has no school.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm good with that. The rest of you folks okay with that?
So an executive session at 6 and the meeting at 7?
I'd say 5.
We do 5 and 6?
I do,
Not that-
well, why not 5 and 7, because there might,
I would make the executive session.
Maybe 5 and 7.
yeah. Exec session at 5 o'clock, and then meeting at 7.
Then make sure that.
Or immediately following?
That gives us enough time to hash it out, I suppose.
You gotta set a time for the meeting so the public would be aware of what's being.
Make the executive 5 and the public meeting at 7.
Yes.
This way we have plenty of time, because how many times we always run out of time during exec session.
I'm gonna amend my motion again, defer this item to the 23rd. And the special public meeting executive session will be at 5 o'clock and the public meeting will be at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Parker, seconded by Mr. Keel to defer ordinance number 1506, salary ordinance year 2025, to December 23rd, where we will have a 5 PM executive session and a 7 PM special public meeting. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Any discussion? Roll call.
Hopefully, everything gets advertised properly.
That's gonna be a priority, Jeff.
Absolutely, we're on it already.
Okay. All right, thank you. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
No.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 6-1. Number 2, resolution number 1365, a transfer resolution. Jennifer, is this yours?
Yes, sir. Would you like me to explain?
Please.
So this is a transfer resolution for year-end transfers. A majority of them are related to personnel and the final pay we had this week, as well as some equipment repairs. So total transfers requested out of the general fund, $167,995.50. Within the police department budget, that is $1,650 from 112 full-time officers to 111 chief salary, $3,512 from 112 full-time officers to 113 full-time clerks, $9,380 from 112 full-time officers to 116 overtime, and $470 from 112 full-time officers to 124 longevity. Under the planning, zoning, and building department, that is $385 from 112 full-time staff to 118 building inspectors, and $1,900 from 315 IT tech services to 312 engineer. Within the fire department, that is $1,805 from 112 full-time officers to 115 part-time officers, $115,535 from 112 full-time officers to 116 overtime, $183.50 from 112 full-time officers to 119 leave payout, $31,145 from 112 full-time officers to 362 vehicle repairs, $2,030 from 352 town utilities to 351 NIPSCO. Under the Lake County Solid Waste Fund, total transfers of $8,650 from 112 full-time employees to 361 equipment repairs. And under the Motor Vehicle Highway Fund, total transfers of $24,000, that's $12,300 from 221 fuel to 362 vehicle repairs, $7,400 from 231 repair parts to 362 vehicle repairs, $3,100 from 233 vehicle maintenance supply to 362 vehicle repairs, and $1,200 from 396 miscellaneous services to 362 vehicle repairs.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Parker, would you mind reading by title only?
Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, resolution number 1365, a resolution authorizing appropriation transfers by the clerk treasurer for the following funds during budget year 2024.
Thank you. Is there any discussion or questions for Jennifer or anybody on resolution number 1365? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Parker, to approve resolution number 1365. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Moving on to BZA and Plan Commission. Number 1, Summer Winds Unit 2 Performance Letter of Credit to expire on December 20th, 2025 in the amount of $279,817.13, contingent upon Plan Commission approval at the December 18, 2024 Plan Commission public meeting. Either Plan Commissioners or Jeff, Tim, I know this was set for a pull date by the Plan Commission, but we ended up getting something.
Yeah.
And it would be the same for number 2 as well, Unit 3?
And we're told that Kirsten has these in her hand.
That was the message that I received. They are in hand, or was her statement.
Do we still have a so I have residents that call me from the subdivision that have problems and stuff that's on the punch list. And there's really nothing we can do until
Well, yeah, we've done the inspection, we've given them the list, so that's why these bonds are in place, but it's kind of like the Rose Garden thing, this has got to come to an end sooner than, we've tried being patient, they just are really at that threshold of reaching the 80% build out, so it's not like it has taken a long time to build out. Certain phases in the community are at 80%, but others are not, but if we take the whole thing as a whole, they're right there.
Mm-hmm.
So really, this portion of getting these completed and moving into a maintenance bond is just, we've just been able to allow that to start happening as of recent, so, I wouldn't anticipate redoing this again. He's gonna have to get it done and get that road connected through to I think that seems to be one of the largest things, the road connecting through to the south there into Beacon 7 or Beacon, whatever that is there, but,
that's where we're at.
just the timing of that 80% though is what's kind of
Slowing it
kept
down.
it, and then he didn't want to open that road up and have all the construction traffic going through the other neighborhood, which I get it, but,
Okay.
I think, like I said, I think he needs a little bit, just kind of like what we did with, Rose Garden, to kind of push it along and get this thing finished up and wrapped up and move
Have a
along.
representative come in like Rose Garden is doing.
We could have him come in if you would like.
To the Plan Commission?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would probably be smart, huh?
I'll find it tomorrow night.
All right. Very good. There's no more discussion. Is there a motion to approve this would be an extension?
Contingent upon Plan Commission approval.
Yes. Is that a motion, Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Teal for Summer Winds Unit 2 and Unit 2 Performance Letter of Credit to expire December 20th, 2025 in the amount of $279,817.13, contingent upon Plan Commission approval at the December 18th, 2024 Plan Commission public meeting. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Teal?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recuto?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 2, Summer Winds Unit 3 Performance Letter of Credit to expire on December 23rd, 2025 in the amount of $14,575.48, contingent upon Plan Commission approval at the December 18th, 2024 Plan Commission public meeting.
So move for this also.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Teal to approve this extension contingent upon Plan Commission approval at the December 18th, 2024 Plan Commission public meeting. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Teal?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recuto?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Moving on to new business, appoint a liaison for Community Heart and Soul. We obviously had Ms. Zasada that introduced us to this. She would like somebody tonight. I don't think it would kill us if we waited, but if somebody had somebody in mind, I suppose we could appoint somebody.
Should we do applications?
What does the qualifications have to be?
I think, well, it was...
What are you looking for?
Yeah, it was in the packet here.
I'd just like if she had something to add or something.
Oh, here you are, Julie. You're still with us, okay.
Thank you. So qualifications would be, municipality staffer, someone from the council, or a citizen. It does not matter who you appoint, as long as they either live, work, or play in Cedar Lake, so.
Okay. Are you okay with a deferral? Are you okay if we
Yes, how long do
defer
you
this?
do first, Phil?
Oh, to December.
Yeah, we could probably do this on December 23rd.
Okay,
Yeah, I know you said by the first of the year, but,
that works.
yeah, okay.
Let's see, have any volunteers in the audience?
You will willingly appoint you. Okay?
Yeah, that's
I'll
fine.
make,
Thanks, Julie.
All right, you're
Yeah.
welcome.
I'll make a motion to defer this item to December 23rd.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Parker, seconded by Mr. Teal, to defer this item to the December 23rd special meeting. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
And Nick Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0.
I'm gonna make a motion to defer item number 2 in new business to the December 23rd meeting as well, because we need to have an executive session to have some discussion on this.
Okay. Very good. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Parker, seconded by Mr. Becker to defer the Park Board recommendation appointments for the Park Foundation to the December 23rd special meeting. Any discussion?
Now these, individuals were passed by the Park Board on December 5th,
Yes.
Recommended.
recommended.
Yeah.
And I believe there were only 3 applicants, right? Mary Jo?
That's what I was in your understanding, is that correct, Jennifer?
You guys switched and applications were going through, Mrs. Gray's office. The only one I had received was Mrs. Parker.
I think it was 2 applications and a twisted arm.
If I recall correctly. Is that right, Cindy? There was 1, 3.
Cheryl Parker's came in when, you guys we were unsure of where they should go, and they came over to town hall, and she may need to refill another one out. Kathy Broomhead was sent over after received, and, Marie's application has also been sent over to the administrative office.
And also, we could have 5, potentially.
5
We could
members
add
is-
2 more.
For this foundation.
Need be, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 3, new business, utilize gov deals for 2012 Dodge Charger. Chief Brittingham.
Just another vehicle that's reached its end of use for the town of Cedar Lake, so the only legal way to get rid of it is by auction.
Okay. Fair enough. Any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Ms. Dixon, seconded by Mr. Becker to approve the utilization of gov deals for a 2012 Dodge Charger. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Number 4, update to town manager's job description. We have a town manager here.
We do have a town manager here.
Mr. Bungie, hello.
Good evening all. In your packet are, 2, job description, characteristics, I guess, that have been provided to us. This is what, if you haven't seen it, this is what our town statute says is the, duties and responsibility of the town manager of the town of Cedar Lake.
So that's the Cedar Lake one, because we never could find it.
This is the Cedar Lake one.
Thank you.
This is in the code.
Not a job description.
Oh, it's not a job
It's your
description.
town code,
Oh, it's a town code. Okay,
which
thank you.
follows statute.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
This is verbatim out of the AIM,
Mhm.
municipal handbook. No frills, no nothing, no upgrades, no clarifications, nothing. So, I was also tasked then with coming up with a couple of options. The first one was sourced out by Mrs. Dixon. I don't know, did you change any of these? Did you add our the town of Cedar Lake to any of this? I'm not sure exactly
No.
where you...
And then what I did was I researched communities I feel that are going through or have gone through what we went through. Whitetown, for instance, has development on I-65, we need a development on 41, so we want someone with those expertise. Brownsburg grew very fast, very quickly, couldn't keep up with their infrastructure. We need someone that can also identify with that. And then, of course, the last one is Carmel, who we all know grew very, very quick, but I think the thing about Carmel is they strive to bring in the arts, the culture into their community, to make it an asset. You know, not that our lakes are our asset, but we need more to draw people to our community. And that's why I brought in Carmel. So it's a combination of three that I felt that we need to thrive for Cedar Lake, to make it a better place.
And out of the packet that Mrs. Dixon was able to find, really the only thing that we found that was anywhere close to having any kind of conflict with what we do here and what they had was the one little verb about town budgets, which obviously Ms. Amber takes care of. Okay. So, and then the other one that I was able to source out was one that was provided to me, and it's their description of position from the town of North Judson. Very similar in description of titles and roles and duties as the one that Ms. Dixon found. The North Judson one I thought was kind of particularly interesting because through a number of their qualification bases, they do quote Indiana code, which I know Mr. Austin is very fond of doing and likes to see. So I did my homework. This is what I presented. If we want to sit down and if this is something that we'd like to tweak and customize to our needs, I'd certainly be willing to be a part of that, if you'd like me to be a part of that.
Okay.
And the only thing that I felt was in the North Judson one, that's a much smaller community, so I'd really like to, compare that to something more our size. And then, of course, the experience of the individual only has to have 2 years' experience. We need a little more than that. We've got a lot of problems.
Yeah.
We need somebody with some grit. So, that's all. But I think it's,
My only concern is you talk about bringing people into the community. We gotta fix our infrastructure first because
that's not what I said. I said Brownsburg built quickly and didn't have the infrastructure, so then they slowed down. So that's what we have to learn.
Yeah.
Like we did, we made motions to slow it down. So we can learn a lot from Brownsburg. Someone with that background, I'm just saying, I just went to communities that I felt mirrored what we needed, that's all.
Any questions for me before I sit down?
Not for you, Jeff, thank you.
Okay. All right, you all know where to find me.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
So these are just a couple of examples. We're not ready to adopt anything yet, correct?
Unless the majority thinks that they're okay with one or the other, but,
I think we need an exec session for that.
yeah.
Oh, my God.
I would say it should go on the exec session as well, but I am actually in favor of the first one.
Well, there may be something in both of them. I'm thinking, maybe some combination.
Well, I agree with what Jeff said, the state statute. I did not put the state statute verbiage in the job description, so that could be added. And I think it should be added.
And I think we need to have some discussion on this and not say this one or that one until we talk about it as a whole.
We can take the two and look at them.
I agree.
So are you suggesting we do it in executive session, the next executive session?
If we're all okay with that.
You guys okay?
This 2 hours may not be enough. Keep piling on.
We're gonna have a timer. When the timer goes off, then we move on.
Well, I mean, the key thing is preparation before the meeting. I will say that.
Yeah, I know.
So I don't want to see any of us just wait until that meeting to start the discussion.
Okay.
Look at it, redline it, and then come with us.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, we do have that exec session, but realistically, will we be able to act on that that night, or should we defer this until right after the first of the year, probably?
That's probably not a bad idea.
You know? Dave?
The night you're looking at descriptions, you're gonna hire somebody, you know.
Yeah.
No, not hire, but advertise.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
For sure.
And at what point are we gonna do that as far as directing, to get that advertisement out there?
First part of next year, that's something we also need to discuss in executive session, that's a personnel matter.
Yes.
But as far as deferring this item, realistically, we're not gonna be able to act on it on the 23rd. It's gonna be redlined and crossed out and all that stuff.
And then corrections and draft.
What's the first meeting in January?
January 2nd.
Or 7th.
Seventh, sorry.
That was this year.
Yeah.
Was that your birthday?
That's my birthday. I wanted to get on there.
I'll make a motion to defer this item until January 7th.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Parker, seconded by Mr. Vera to defer the update to the town manager's job description to the January 7th town council meeting. Any discussion? Roll call?
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Hill?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Turning the page. Number 5, requisition number 20, disbursement of funds from 2022A construction fund in the amount of $22,280.72 to GM Development Companies, LLC. A payment. Any discussion?
This is for the police or fire?
Police.
22A is police.
Number 20 is, police?
Yes.
I had that wrote down on one of the other agenda packets I had, but I've got 3 different agenda packets.
All right, thank you, Bob. Is there a motion to approve this disbursement?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Oh, sorry.
Motion made by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Becker to approve requisition number 20, disbursement of funds from 2022A construction fund, the amount of $22,280.72 to GM Development Companies, LLC. Any discussion? Bless you. Roll call, please.
Thank you.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Hill?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 6, requisition number 19, disbursement of funds from 2022B construction fund in the amount of $132,924.31 to GM Development Companies, LLC. This is for the fire station.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Ms. Rivera to approve requisition number 19, disbursement of funds from 2022B construction fund in the amount of $132,924.31 to GM Development Companies, LLC. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Hill?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 7, fire EMS agreement with Hanover Township. Trustee Toth, do you want to speak, or do you want to?
If you want.
Yes, come on up
Sure.
and talk to us.
We need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's your back?
It's getting better. 4 more weeks, I hope. Anyway, this is the same contract we've had for, this will be my 6th year now that we've been doing this, and I know we've done it for a lot longer before that. We just want to continue our partnership with the town and the fire department, and I think we've been a good partner, and we've had some very good discussions in the past couple of weeks. So I think we have a plan, we know where we're going forward, and hope you guys will accept this.
Yep.
Any
Yep.
questions for me, or?
No, it's, the terms are the same, from 2024.
Yep.
We just eliminated a section, and that was requested to be eliminated, really didn't have any bearing on the contract agreement, right, Dave?
I did.
So, you're okay with it, Mr. Toth?
Yep, we'll be in good shape next year because we will
have completed some of the goals we were looking at in our budget as far as operational balance and stuff, so we'll be in good shape.
Okay. I'm looking forward to the continued relationship with you folks.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Any questions for trustee? Nope.
No, I'd like to add, I thought it was a very good meeting that we had the other day.
Yep, yeah. Nothing was thrown and nobody was hurt, so.
I think there was a lot of things that everybody kind of understood more where we're at and what we're doing and what we're trying to do, so.
Yeah.
Kevin, you want to sell the fire truck?
Don't want what?
Do you want to sell your fire truck?
We'll talk about that. I gotta bring that up at a meeting first.
Okay, I was just gonna ask you.
We will talk about that.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Toth. Yep.
Mr. President, I'd like to approve the fire EMS agreement with Hanover Township.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion made by Mr. Teal, seconded by Ms. Dixon to approve the fire EMS agreement with Hanover Township. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Deal?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Reports, town council reports.
Project Club Food Pantry is open tomorrow from 9 to 11:30, and always wanting people to show up. We like taking care of the community, and there I'm a servant.
Yep.
And Pastor Ken, the current minister of the Cedar Lake United Methodist Church, is retiring December 31st.
Oh, wow.
And there will be a retirement party for him this Sunday at 11:30 after church. He's been a minister for over 35 years, and he's tired.
Yeah.
He only works one day a week. No, he doesn't. He puts in more than what he should.
Does real work.
And I intended that I could do it Monday, but I wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, Bob.
He's gonna be hard to replace.
Yeah.
What about you, Ron?
No, that's not my game. I couldn't handle something like that. We've got an interim coming in that will, he's a military man that is a minister, and he's going to cover the church from January until the end of April, until they can select another minister, and that's up to the Indiana Methodist Church to select that person.
He's got a couple months to whip you into shape then.
Yeah.
Well, I thought Julie was asking when Bob's retiring. I misunderstood. Just had to clarify.
No, I wanted it to be Pastor Bob.
Well, tell Pastor Ken congratulations and wish him well.
Yes,
Please.
you get to see him.
Yeah.
I understand he comes down here on Wednesdays and does a prayer, and I heard he's still gonna do that. I don't know if that's true.
He will remain as a chaplain for the police department and fire department as well.
Very good.
I didn't want him to leave, but...
Yeah. You got anything else, Bob?
No, I think I've talked enough.
Oh, it's okay.
Going back to the liaison for Community Heart and Soul, I just wanted to make sure it gets out there to the public. So Jess, like if you and Kirsten could work together to maybe put something on Facebook saying like what we're looking for a liaison, and also send like an email to all the staff to see if any staff member would be interested in it.
Okay. Yeah, we can send something like that.
So like maybe by the 23rd we'll have some takers.
So that can come from Public Works or...
Jeff might want to.
Put him on the spot.
He doesn't have time for that.
All right.
Yeah, just in case.
Sorry, did I hear my name?
Yeah, I said you don't have time for that.
Yeah, I'm pretty booked right now, but we'll consider it. We'll beat some drums. We'll find some support.
All right. Thank you, Julie. Anything else you had?
Nope.
No? Okay.
I have 2 items.
Yep, yes, ma'am.
Today I attended an A-meeting, Zoom. It was council member seminar, what is your role as a council member, ethic requirements for municipal elected officials, the 411 on fire districts, territories, and volunteer departments, the accessibility of website design, hosting, and security, and then the new US.RAISE grant program. I have all that information. I'll forward it to all of you, so you have it also. It just ended at 4:30, so I didn't have time to compile it. I would also like, on behalf of all of us, if we could agree on this, to instruct the department heads, engineer, and attorney to submit an annual report to us by January 21st. That would give us the information that maybe we didn't have when we started, because we didn't have much information when we got started. And it would also show us where we're at. And then it would share with the community that we do believe in transparency and accountability.
Okay.
As far as report, are you talking about like?
Just an annual report, like, what was, I mean, we get a monthly report from the fire and police and from the parks, but if they could compile it, now, the park has to do it, they have to submit one to the state anyways.
We do one every year.
Receive that.
That's what I'm saying, so that's what I'm just saying, just a suggestion.
My only issue with that is adding the attorney to it, because litigation stuff isn't always palatable.
I don't think specifics are required on that. I don't think that's what was being asked.
There's projects where we're at.
How far back do you
Object to
wanna
it?
A year, an annual.
Does anyone object to it? I mean, I'm just looking for some.
And I did have some discussion with Attorney Austin about that, as far as, that would almost be like a direction to him, that if he could, provide that for us, what was asked. And of course, I don't know if you want to elaborate on that, Dave, as far as, non-specifics, of course, on, those certain types of cases and stuff.
Yeah, it's, I've been here a long time. I've sat in this chair a long time, and what I've learned during the course of that is that there's a lot of fluidity in what goes on here. And in my position, there's a tremendous amount of fluidity. I don't know, from day to day, from moment to moment, from month to month, how the project, I would use that phrase generic, but project, activity, I call most things either initiative. You read my bills carefully, you'll see. They say project or they say initiative, something to that effect, because it's your work, it's your stuff that I'm doing. And it is a bit confusing. I've never done this in terms of the way it was asked. Not that it's wrong. Mary Jo and I talked about it. It's not wrong. It's just different. I'll take a whack at it, for sure. And what I would suggest to you and my staff when I started on this little project today is that if you monitor and review my billing invoices, you'll get the picture of what I'm doing. Because it's all in there. So I would encourage that, and I'll probably reference that in any report I provide you. By the way, I execute the billing invoice every month when it comes in here under penalties for perjury, criminality. So I'm signing the accuracy to what I'm reporting to you and asking you to pay me for what you want me to do in that documentation. If you need the abridged version, by the way, and they're pretty thick, the bills, if you need the abridged version, go to the summary page and you'll see the categories of items. There's a lot going on here. It always has been, really. We're growing, continuing a vibrant place. So.
Thanks for sharing. I wasn't going to explain it the way you said it as our conversation.
That's all I have. Okay. Rich, did you have something?
Yes, I had a couple items as well.
Sure.
I seen that we recently started having the fire inspections again. I did have one request, as far as the fire inspections. If there's a way that they could attach photos for, like, infractions, that way, when it gets over to, Director of Operations, Tim Kubiak, there's a clear understanding as what, other than just going there off of the, the inspection report.
Okay.
More of a clear understanding of what a violation or, concern or issue is.
Is that what the town items?
Well, I read through them myself, and some of them, I think photos would go a long way with it, just for a better understanding between, you know, that inspection by the, you know, whoever did the inspection and, Director of Operations.
Okay. What are we talking about, town inspections?
The fire inspections on...
You want me to elaborate?
Yes, please.
Recently, we trained 2 more firefighters to become fire inspectors. During that COVID process, we stopped doing fire inspections because the businesses were down. And of course, my father was the fire inspector for many, many years. He passed away, and he was doing them for $1,500 a year. So we didn't have the budget, nor did we have the staffing to start back up.
And Jimmy did it for a while.
Jimmy was doing some of them for a while, so we were kind of trying to keep it going. So recently, we just hired a new firefighter that's also a fire inspector, and we also trained 2 people. So we went back out this month, and we typically try to start with the bars and restaurants, because they have the highest risks, you know, because of, you know, cooking and stuff like that. So myself, I took the 41 corridor with a new inspector, and Chief Mocker took the east side with a new inspector, and we started going through the businesses on this side. And all the businesses did very well. I mean, there was just small stuff, nothing detrimental to anybody or needing to get extreme in any way, shape, or form. And all the business owners were very receptive, and were even saying, man, we haven't seen you in a while, it's nice to see you. So,
yeah.
And it was nice to get back out there and talk to owners, property owners, and you know, to help them get back in getting compliance, or, you know, help them with their compliance as well. So we did find a few businesses that had a few things, corrections that needed to be made. Nothing, like I said, nothing bad. But this will be the first year ever that we've transferred any of the reports to the building department. Typically, all fire reports stay with the fire department.
Yeah.
So I wanted, so that we could work together with the building department when it comes to violations.
Yeah, I really like that idea.
To make sure, you know, if we do, you know, once a week, upload them to the you know, to Tim's office, so that we got, not so much, transparency, but also continuity with, you know, some of its fire issues, but also some of its building department related. And we kind of look out for each other, because when the building department guys are in a building and they say, hey, the fire department needs to come and take a look at this, then we do the flip side of that and say, hey, this is also a building department issue. So we've done that in the past. So now it's going to streamline it a little bit better, a little easier. We're gonna, you know, we're gonna try to get as many of these done as we can. During the holiday times, you know, everything it slows down a little bit as far as day-to-day stuff other than calls. So we're able to get out there a little bit, plus the weather's been nice. So that's what we've done here recently. We've done, I don't know, 30-some inspections. There's over 260 businesses places that need to be inspected in town, not more. So my dad would start out, and he would go out every day and do 1 or 2 and get them done by the end of the year.
He corrected me a whole bunch of times.
He was on the Boys Club pretty good at the time. Great. He was, but we miss him, and it'd be nice to have him back to continue that legacy of his. But he also did inspections in mold too. So.
Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Teal?
Yes, I just wanted to touch base real quick, as far as the planning director position. Mr. Conley is actually here today. I had several conversations with him, with clerk treasurer and, the attorney, as far as the, offer of employment, as far as the specifics to the terms and stuff like that. Spoke to most of the council. Basically, we would need to give direction to the town attorney to create the offer of employment to include the planning director job description in the conditions and compensations of that position. And that the start date would be December 30th.
Can you elaborate on the compensation in that for the public?
Not ready yet, is it?
What's that?
It's not ready yet.
It's not drafted yet. But, I don't know, is that something that can be discussed after it's drafted and on the 23rd, Dave?
Well, that cow's out in the field running.
Because you did talk to me about some of it, and I just...
Yes, and I believe everybody knows the, amounts, and I didn't know if that was,
You're meeting on the 23rd.
that's what I thought.
It's probably best to get it concrete,
Yeah,
solid.
I'd rather have it on paper.
Have it done.
Yeah.
Before, doing that prematurely, but, there is a start date of the 30th.
Very good.
And he's here?
Yes,
Okay.
that's all I had.
All right, thank you, Mr. Keel. Any other town council reports? Okay, we'll move on to town attorney, Attorney Austin.
In the context of fluidity, I will report to you tonight on the public record, we made the last connection and collection of the lawsuit for 133rd and Fairbanks. I'll have that by year end.
The gas station?
The gas station. And again, in the spirit of fluidity, that thing started in 2014. And we've collected every principal penny. We didn't collect a lot of the interest, but we collected a lot of the, or all of the principal. So, pass that on to you.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Clerk Treasurer, Ms. Sandberg.
Nothing this evening.
Okay. Town Manager, Mr. Bungie.
For those of you that are on the Road and Streets Committees, a memorandum was circulated, I believe it was Monday, from Don Oliphant from Seabell, as far as a number of ongoing and completed projects. Pretty impressive list of things that are either completed, started, or on the drawing board for us. And he'd like to get together, and I believe a meeting has been scheduled for tomorrow night after the
Planning
Commission meeting. So I just didn't know if other members of the board that are not privy to what was sent to the Road and Street Committee, that you look up and try to find, if it's not available to you, let me know. This memorandum and showing quite a handful of very worthwhile things going on around town, and kind of in the lurches and the darkness that nobody typically sees in the light of day. But we got a lot of things going on in town. A lot of good things going on in town.
Yeah, I did see an email from Don regarding that Pazer rating, and I think that's increased year over year, right? That's road conditions, and we want to keep heading in the right direction, so.
You want to print a copy of that for me?
I will. Be happy to.
Okay.
Be in your mailbox tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
That's all I have for now.
Thank you, Jeff. Director of Operations, Mr. Kubiak.
I have nothing.
Okay. Police Department, Chief Ridingham.
I'll have the reports, but more importantly, on Saturday, our FOP Lodge 173 with the police department held their Cops and Kids program at the Meyer in Highland. It was a great event. I also attended with them. They invited me to come, and had a good turnout with kids that were able to do some shopping for some things that they needed. It's a lot of great donations and support from the community that helped out to make this happen. And if you look at the social media page for the police department and the FOP Lodge 173, there's some pictures and a post about it. It goes without saying, it's a great thing. So,
Do you know how many kids you took?
there was a total of 30, but there was some no-shows. I think we were around 20-something, 25 altogether, something in that ballpark.
And how much did they spend on each kid?
There was a $250 threshold, but it wasn't a rock solid. I mean, the total bill was over $6,000 and some dollars.
That's good, because it used to be a lot lower than that. I'm
Sure.
glad to hear that.
Cost of living.
Yep.
So,
Inflation.
kudos to them.
Yeah.
It's a great thing. without question. So quick on reports, monthly reports, calls for service. In November, 663, that's about 32 and a half a day. Traffic stops, 203 for November. We had 174 warnings, we had 894 citations. We had a total of 468 law incidents and 15 arrests, and our arrest offense analysis at 17. Ordinance activity and warnings for the month, we had a total of 18. And as far as citations for the month go, we had a total of 35. And if you follow our media and social media, you've seen all the posts and the press releases and the activity we've had recently. It's been interesting.
A lot of good work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So,
And some excitement?
I'm sorry?
And some excitement?
Yeah, just,
Yeah.
It's, has its moments.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it has its moments, and it just goes to show that you never know what's gonna come your way every day, and a lot of dangerous people out there.
Yeah. Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too. Fire Department, Chief Welkening?
Yeah, I have about 30 or 40 things, so if you guys got
Oh, boy.
time tonight.
Is that file? Chief Jeff?
I would just like to start off by offering my services to Mr. Austin for a year-end report. If you'd like to have our help, we do it every year. We'd like to help you.
I don't need one that long.
So, hey, you always help us, so I figured we can reciprocate a little bit. On some serious notes, the Board of Safety last night approved the hiring of a part-time person based upon the fact that we could possibly switch him to full-time here soon. We are in the process of getting his Illinois certs switched over to Indiana, so we're temporarily going to hire him part-time, which would give us our 16th person for the year, thank God.
Yeah.
And again, thank you for the council. I did put a nice little release on Facebook for the hard work this year that, you guys have done. You guys have had a lot of stuff to do, and sometimes accomplishments don't get appreciated. And we've accomplished stuff. We got 5 volunteers going to be in the academy, or I'm sorry, 4, but one's already finishing. We got that done this year. So we should have some more volunteers hitting the streets in July of this year. We hired some part-time people, and unfortunately, as soon as we do hire one full-time person, we got one down with just had surgery, so he's going to be out for 4 months, but we're going to be able to help curb our overtime for next year by running minimum staffing, because we'll have a little extra staffing to be able to do that. So that's all part of stepping forward and getting more people and trying to alleviate that. A year and a half ago, the council approved us to write a grant for air packs, and it was approved the way it was written. And obviously, we did not get that grant, and with a recent donation, we have the opportunity to finish that grant and buy the packs needed for the fire department. In our expert opinion, the grant that we wrote and the need for our department, based upon our management team, is what is needed for the fire department moving forward. The donation was, a part of the donation was given to the clerk treasurer today, and I understand that the board, the council has to accept it. And if there's any way that could be done, either tonight, if you could at least accept the donation. We would like to get a verbal, either at least a verbal or a public approval to move forward with the Air Packs grant so that we can benefit from the $40,000 savings. If we don't get this done by the 20th, then we're going to see a $40,000 increase in the cost with everything. Chief Mager has done an extensive report, and I did have councilmen have concerns, which is rightful, and The standards that require air packs for fire apparatus have been sent out to everybody for perusal.
How long are those air packs good for, Todd? What's the shelf life on them? Just
10 to 15.
10 to 15 years?
Yeah,
And how old are the ones you got?
15.
Well, they're right
We
at.
have a few of them that are a little more, but they're all at the expiration of their, excuse me, of their lifespan. And we are switching manufacturers, because we have what's called Scott Air Packs. We're the only department in the region that still has Scott Air Packs, everybody else is at MSA. And then the MSD, and we need to be compatible with our neighbors, because we have to plug our packs into each other during a rescue situation. So one of our guys goes down, and we could actually attach our bottle with a hose to the buddy that's rescuing us, so we can breathe off of their air as well. So one of the concerns was, do we need so many packs? And I totally understand that concern, because it's legitimate when you start thinking about how we're set up. Riding positions on apparatuses and ambulances where air packs need to be put. On a standard day, our apparatus will roll out with a fire engine with 4 guys on it and 4 air packs. But then the other fire trucks need to have air packs on them too. So when our volunteers come in, they jump on the truck, they respond, they got packs to work with on the scene. So that's why 27 is the number. Actually 31 was the number, and we did cut that back to 4. Talking about sending 5 people to the academy, I have to provide 5 air packs for them to go to the academy and train in for 6 months, straight months. So extras is important for us to have a few extras, not to mention spare bottles, and every person has to have a mask. And we need, I should say, a spare mask for everybody, because the first thing that we really trash is the mask. And for us to try to replace them at a later time, with the voice amplifier, those masks are $700, $800, $900 a piece. So with the donation that we recently are receiving, we can accomplish a very big project for the fire department. And I'm asking the council to support the fire department's management team in its evaluation of the needs for the fire department, and grant the packs to be purchased.
First of all, I got a question for you, but I do want to tell you I appreciated that sarcasm. I don't know if Dave liked the way you came over the fence, but it made me grin.
He liked it. He liked it. We have a unique relationship.
We'll have an English tutor for Todd by his management. They're ready to ride.
It's holidays. We always have to have a little fun.
Yeah. Can you, and you mentioned Chief Mauger and the savings of $40,000. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Okay, so
is this by the end of the year? I mean, probably an inventory thing. You get a bit of a discount.
Yeah. What happened is the spare bottles that goes with the bottles that go with the pack. So there'll be 27 of them, and each one will have a spare. Right now, they're offering a.
Can you check that heat again, Carl?
If you get a bottle, you get 1 spare for free at a $40,000 savings and over the whole project. If we don't sign, we lose that part of the deal. So we will have to buy the spare bottles, which we have to have spare air bottles, because they, once you put them through a 30-minute pack, which goes pretty quickly, you gotta be able to get another bottle on that guy right away and get him back into the fire, guy or gal, we got gal now. So we will lose that part of the deal if we don't act on. We had a discussion with them today again, and I said, verbally speaking, we can tell you we're probably going to do the project, but we don't. Right now, there's some questions. And I said, they're looking for a written signature, and the executive of the account today was he was a little upset that the project hadn't moved quicker, and we're not where we should be. I did inform him that, it was important to have the check in hand before you spend money. And so today he called me first thing in the morning, brought that check and said, I want this done. And they want the whole project, all the money spent by May 1st. And he put that in an email form. I said, yes, you're donating it to the town, or the fire department, but it's being donated through the town, which the town council and the road safety make decisions based upon that, so we have procedures that have to be followed. But he wants it off his books and completely done by May 1st. I said, well, you have to send that out in a written form stating that that's what you want. So he did that today, so you guys all have the email.
Dave, you had a little problem with, the way the check was coming in?
I had a big problem with the whole thing.
Well, what are our next steps then?
Well, you're on a path now that's probably not as consistent with that trust document as it should be. As I told Todd last night, I really don't care about, from my perspective, about the equipment purchase. I care about the process and the legalities of it for our sake. Todd's right. It checks. I don't know what happened this morning, but it needs to be accepted as a donation by the town. Fire department is a department of the town, it's not the town. And the town subsumes, if you will, the fire department function. So I'm sure Jennifer has probably some concerns about receipt and processing of payment. I don't know, is it miscellaneous revenue? Is it an additional appropriation? There are procedures I know that you need to consider.
There are, depending on, first steps would be for council to actually accept the donation, and at that time I would want it very clear on the record where that is supposed to be receipted into. I have a recommendation, and then that way everybody is clear upon that donation, you know, what the anticipated use is for, and whatever else council wishes to throw in there. But it's locked away until you take official action on it.
What's your recommendation?
That it goes into Fund 114, which was specifically created a couple of years back for fire equipment donations. It's a capital non-reverting fund.
We talked about that.
Yeah, we did talk about that day, Mary Jo, we remember that, so, yeah.
Okay. Is this something that can be ready tonight?
You can act on it if you want, that's your call, by way of acceptance. I don't think there's been adherence to the procedures yet, but I think that's your call.
This has just all happened so fast, you know?
Yeah, I understand, it's just, like Dave said, the first thing you gotta do is accept the money. So, I mean, I would think that if we could do that. You had the project in front of you, we met as a committee, everybody knows what the project is.
Who's got the funds?
Jennifer does.
You have the check?
It's locked away. Chief brought it to me this morning.
But you haven't accepted it yet, officially.
I don't accept it. You
We have to
accept it.
accept
As
it.
soon as you accept it, I receipt it and deposit it into our account.
And Dave, were you saying the procedure isn't right? Is that what I'm hearing?
So far, if you act on the donation acceptance, then you've begun to trip it down the proper path. But there is a deposit to be made, there's a fund to be deposited into, and procedures and requirements for expenditure of those funds need to be confirmed. A lot of money, it's gonna be looked at, not like a $20 donation.
The check is for $500,000?
The first check is for $500,000, yes. And, it was spelled very specifically out in the will of how it is to be spent. So like Dave said, there is a procedure. What I'm asking for tonight is to start that proper procedure, like you mentioned, for the council to accept it, and then, it go into the right fund, and then accept our project, our first project of the first part of it, so we can get the savings on
Jennifer, can you spend the money once it's donated, accepted,
Yes, because it's non-reverting fund.
out of that non-reverting fund? So it would just take some documentation from either the trustee and or the chief, department head.
Well, ultimately, with a purchase this big, I would think it would be, you know, council approving the purchase. It's not like I can turn around and cut a check to whoever the vendor is right after.
Yeah, unfortunately, I talked about the cow in the field here a little while ago, and that cow's coming around to get, cart in front of the horse.
I'm not sure.
He was specific on not wasting the money on, you know, delays, so he was very specific on that, so we wanted to make sure that we got the savings that we would get by getting this deal done. Now, talking to the vendor today, payment on it would not be required until February.
Hey, Todd, I'm sorry, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Let me handle, I want to make a motion to
Okay.
accept these funds. Let's,
Amend the agenda.
I'm sorry?
And designated,
I'm sorry?
and designated. It's a two-step process.
Yeah, there's a deposit to be made into the proper fund.
Well, what I was thinking about doing here is doing it in two steps. First, to make a motion to accept the funds and the clerk treasurer deposits them into Fund 114 Capital Non-Reverting
Those are
Fund.
two good motions. That's exactly what should happen.
Okay, let's make that my motion.
Well, you have to first, make a motion to amend the agenda.
I'm sorry. I make a motion to amend the agenda to consider this item.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Parker, seconded by Mr. Rivera, to amend the agenda to consider this item for the acceptance of funds. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Mr. Parker?
Now I want to make a motion to accept the funds and ask the clerk treasurer to deposit them in capital account 114, non-reverting fund. And I think we can, well, let's just do that first.
Okay. We have a motion by Mr. Parker to accept the funds that were received today in dollar amount of $500,000 and deposit those funds into fund number 114, non-reverting.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Thiel. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes, motion carries 7-0.
Okay, now I feel like that part of it's out of the way and we can eliminate the confusion of having them.
Yeah.
Now,
So, what,
go.
okay.
I apologize for interrupting, but I wanted to get that out of the way.
No, I appreciate that, because you streamlined it quickly and saved me my voice, because I've been sick myself, so. Like I said, going back to our intentions with the money, we did meet with a committee. Mary Jo was there, Rich was there, Jeff was there, the executor of the, account was there, my staff was there, and, trustee Toth was there. And a discussion was held about the overall package that we put together, which included some EMS equipment and also, rescue tools that need to be updated for our departments. And we have no airbags anymore, they're shot and done. So that was some project that, to spend the money, we lined up things that we needed, not wanted, needed.
Are these lifting airbags, or what kind of airbags?
Lifting airbags, yeah. Ours are 30 years old, and they do no longer work anymore. So part of that extraction equipment that we were updating was a new set of lift bags. So we prioritized everything, and obviously the air packs were number one, because we tried for a year with a grant, and we did not get the grant. And a lot of work went into that grant. So we decided that, excuse me, after talking to Mr. Blanford, you know, we knew we weren't gonna get all the money at one time, and there would be 2 different time periods. And I've had dialogue with council people and board of safety members on stuff, and everybody had great ideas, and it comes down to this for the air packs for us. we did an extensive review, and we know our department better than anybody, and we believe this is the best route for us currently right now. And with the needs of our department and the safety of our people and the safety of the community, the quantity and the quality of the packs is what we are proposing to spend the money on. Now, Mr. Blanford wants the fire department's input on all of it, and was very kind of blunt today with me today that, you know, he was hoping that this would get done so he could get it off his books quickly. And I told him that, you know, government works a little bit different, a little slower, and things have to be assessed and all that stuff. But what I need to get the savings to get the extra air bottles would be a commitment from the council to go with our package that was presented to all of you, and a signature on the paperwork to state that we can go ahead and order these packs. Now, he told us today that payment wouldn't be due until February, but we have to lock in that deal with MSA, with the manufacturer. So that's what I'm asking for tonight, for approval to move forward with that.
Councilmember Teal and Dixon, were you happy in the meeting with all the items?
Well, we've had, well, I personally have had several discussions with Chief Wilkening about it, and just so there's clarity, there was never any thought or discussion as far as any type of misuse of the funds. We completely understand the terms that Mr. Huppenthal stated as far as equipment, so there's no confusion. We understand completely to go for equipment for the fire department. Chief Wilkening and I had a discussion, I believe it was last week prior to the fire contract meeting, on the fact at that meeting with the needs committee that the complete amount of the funds were basically already accounted for. Discussion that I, said was that would it be possible to not spend it all at once, set aside for rainy day, that yes, there are needs, and a lot of needs, more than what this great amount of donation is. But however, what if between now and 6 months there's a greater need, and then now it's all spent? So I don't think it's an issue of not spending it. I think it's more spending it wisely on maybe reserving some of it. So that discussion was Thursday.
And Rich, I did pass that on to him about, I asked him, I said, is there gonna be a time period? Because I had council people, and which is a legitimate concern, and it's rightfully speaking, because we obviously always have something pop up. And he specifically said, I'm giving you the date of May 1st, and that's when I want it all completely done.
Which is confusing to me, because at no time was that discussed in that needs committee as far as a deadline of May 1st. The minute he wrote that check this morning, and then we make this, and it gets deposited into the funds, it's off his books. Well, that's where the clarity needs to be. So the second time, the second remaining of the donations, which we understand, it would be after tax time and stuff like that, because that's the stipulations that they have to take care of. So whenever the timing is of that second and final payment of the donation, it's off the books.
Well, he wanted all the public relations stuff done and all the equipment displayed so that he could have it completely done by a certain amount. And I told him, I said, would a year be okay? And he said the intention was to get the money to the department, to get it spent, and get it so that he can get publicity for his donation on what we purchased. So he don't want to drag it on, and he doesn't want it to be, and I told him your concerns, and I said, Councilman Thiel was very proactive. He wasn't in any way, shape, or form saying you shouldn't get the rescue equipment. It was just, hey, if we could take some of it, put it aside for, until maybe the end of the year, to see if something pops up. Since then, though, and in discussions with the trustee about an ambulance, that EMS equipment they were talking about could now be, that actually could be diverted to help equip the new ambulance. So that could be something that we could consider the rest of that money for, because the new ambulance won't be here until, if the trustee's office and his board, make the commitment, we wouldn't see it until the middle of next year anyways. So the additional funds, and I could always go back and say, or we could buy the monitor and the top stuff and have it ready for the ambulance, because, I know the township is interested in helping us with the ambulance, so, but I know they want us to equip it as a town, so in that wish list of equipment, Rich, was a monitor, you know, stuff like that. We need 2 new monitors, and those are $40-some thousand a piece. And we're talking about heart monitors, the monitors that go on you when we take you to the hospital, same things that you get in the emergency room. We're fortunate to have had somebody so generous in our community to, you know, we had built a little bit of a relationship that thought of us when he, you know, passed away, to have us in his will. So the total would be somewhere around $750,000 when it's over with, guesstimating. So,
But Councilmember Keel, you said you didn't hear, you've never heard the date that it had to be used by
He
May?
didn't give us the date of that meeting.
No, he did not get that at the meeting. It's only when I
talked to him.
I talked to him and said, would it be okay to keep some of the money for a rainy day? And then he came back to say he would like to have everything done by May 1st, so that there could be a publicity shoot, all the equipment would be bought, and it could be off his books and off his table, and he could fulfill his obligation to the estate by making sure it's completely done by May 1st.
Because at that work session, to answer Greg's question, at that work session, I did tell you that it should go in a non-reverting fund, because then you'd have better access to it.
Sure.
At that time, I did voice my opinion. Remember, I mentioned about investing, you know, maybe investing some, because my concern sitting up here is 10 years, 15, whatever that timeline is, how do we ever replace that many? And that's why, at that, you know, if you remember, I said, maybe could we cut that back a little bit, so we're not, I can't see us in the future having that kind of money to replace them. I was just trying to be
Well, Mary Jo, we did have
ginger.
a plan, and we talked to Jennifer about financing them.
Okay.
And that's what we did last time when we bought air packs,
Okay.
20 years ago. We financed the air packs. So every single time we have financed the air packs, when we, which I can't say every single time, I've only been here, I've been here 40 years almost, and we financed the last group, and it took, I don't know, 7 years to pay them off. In fact, I think Jennifer just became the clerk treasurer when you paid them off, right? Or just prior, you were in the office then, I think.
Yeah, I don't recall if I was.
So, yeah, we can't come up with $400,000 every 15, I know that, but in a way to replace it, we were financing them in the past.
Okay, thank you.
And what we were using was the EMS, non-reverting fund from EMS billing to pay for air packs and, the monitoring, equipment. We were leasing them as well.
So Chief Wilkney, we need some kind of official action here tonight to commit to purchasing those air packs, if that's what we want to do.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
What's the total number on the air packs, Todd, again? I know you said it.
27?
Huh?
Was it 27?
27 air packs, 27 spare bottles.
What was the tally on that?
443,000, something like that, 417,000. I don't have it in front of me, but I wish I would have brought it now.
I was just wondering if anybody knew the exact number. I think
I can give you the exact number, let me look at the camera.
Is this the one from
Chief
McLean?
Monitor, if you're watching, please text it to me. Yeah.
Is this the one from McLean? $415,045.
Yeah.
41545, no change.
That's what it says here.
So that's the number.
I'm sorry. Is that the document here?
415,045.
Now, with the mask, the extra mask you're getting, can't you just get 3 extras for right now?
They're custom fit masks, they have to be fitted to the actual employee and tested. So what we have to do, Chuck, is we have to have a fit test done on the mask, and so there's different sizes. So if we got 3, it may fit you, but it won't fit me.
I know, I understand it, but other departments, they don't have it where they have extra masks for everybody else. But what I'm saying, if you have such a high
I don't know what
turnover,
other departments
if
are.
you have high turnover,
Yeah.
so you're gonna get an extra mask for every person, and then we lose 5 more people, so those 10 masks are no good.
No.
Can they be refitted?
Yes, they can be refitted, yes. So you got extra small, medium, large, and extra large masks. Each person has to go through a fit test. The thing is put on a machine, and it's fit tested to your face to make sure it's positive pressure. So that means if you pull the mask away from your face a little bit, it blows out. That way you can't get any
At
contaminants.
Ford Motor Company, when you got the test, nobody could have a beard.
You can't have any facial hair that breaks the...
We had a hazmat.
You cannot have any facial hair that breaks the seal of the mask.
Right.
Per OSHA standards, yes. So, and have a spare mask for every person, Chuck, is when you destroy it on a scene or have it break or something wrong. You can, it's soaking wet and it needs to be deconned. You can, you dry it properly and put it, but then we get that next call, boom, you don't have a mask. So it's a fluid situation as well. It's constantly moving, when it comes to rotating equipment. I hope that clarifies.
Ted, every time you explain something like that, and I'm sorry for saying Ted, I should be saying Chief.
That's okay, we know each other forever.
Chief, every time you explain something like that, it helps certainly me to understand better about what's going on.
All you have to do is call me. I'd be glad to talk to you.
You don't like talking about it.
I prefer everything to be discussed in the meeting.
Yeah.
I don't like to do email and stuff, so I don't respond to those because I feel like I'm making a decision online and I don't want to do that.
I respect that, and I know that's how you are, so that's the way I respect you.
Councilman Teal, you had a question?
Yeah, I had one other question. I really didn't want to ask during the council question time. It was more fire department related. Do we charge currently for lift assist when we start talking about EMS billing?
We do not.
Okay. After our meeting that we had over at Southcom, we were discussing, side note kind of stuff besides just checking out their operations, and they were discussing about Cherville charging for lift assist, other communities as well, and I really think that's something that we're gonna need to consider.
Okay, Rich, and let me give you a little back history on it, and Bob was on the council when we did this, and so was Greg. Years ago, we did charge $150 for lift assist. So if you called and you fell, and you weren't hurt and didn't have to go to the hospital, you just needed extra hands out, or your mother fell and you couldn't get her up yourself, you had, called us now. You would receive a bill from the town for $150. Then, if you didn't pay it, obviously it would go to collections and you had to pay it. We ran into cases where elderly folks in our community would call often, and then when they started getting accumulative bills and were sent to collections, they would stop calling and lay on the floor for 2 or 3 days before somebody would find them.
I mean, is that issues of the other communities that are charging?
It is. It is because we had documented cases, now we're talking 10 years ago, okay, that we had people that laid on the ground, and the older society that we deal with, they like to pay their bills, like right away. They don't like to see any bills. So if you stack up $400 or $550 bills and they can't keep up with it, then they'll stop using the service and then end up laying there in their own waste. That's what we worried about. So I came back to the council at the time and said, could we suspend that, billing so that we don't have these cases? And people weren't afraid to call because they couldn't afford it. You know, because the insurance doesn't pay for it. Your insurance doesn't pay for a lift assist. Your insurance will pay for the ambulance ride to the hospital, but the lift assist typically is not covered by Medicare or Medicaid, unless you're injured or sick. So, this is a policy call, Rich, it's totally up to you guys, we can do that. That's up to this council to make a decision, and we have a lot of them.
Yeah, and that's what I was...
Frequent flyers.
Yeah, and that was some of my concern too. At what point does it start getting abused? You know, at the expense of the rest of the taxpayers.
Rich, you hit it right on the head, because we have guys we have a handful of people that call us 6, 7, 8, 9 times a week.
Correct.
Maybe 10 times a week. Maybe twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day.
I've heard that some communities like Crown Point, they have like your first 3 free or
Yeah, punch card.
You know, where like up to a certain amount, the first
we
3
can do
or
that.
5 are free, and then after that, like charge. And I know it's more common in communities that have like assisted living, where the assisted living people don't lift, and then they have to come out, so I can see, you know, charging for that. I appreciate, you know, the compassion of not charging, but when you're getting called 6, 7, 8, 9 times a week, is it becoming where they might be able to call a neighbor or a family member or a friend, you know, there's gonna be instances where they
I'm not gonna
can't.
say that there is not abuse of the system, there is.
I just think that needs to be revisited.
I agree. Yep.
It's already in ordinance form, Rich, council. It is already in ordinance form, and Dave drafted it many years ago. All it would have to be is, I think, an executive order from the council to state we would like to go back to, and correct me if I'm wrong, making sure that ordinance is followed when it comes to the lift assist as well. I'm sure we probably need to revisit it, but at the end of the day, it was a council call to stop it. So I don't have the authority to start billing somebody again without the council's approval. So if that's what you guys prefer, we will do that.
Well,
I'm just wondering.
Yeah, definitely more discussion on it, that's what I just wanted to...
Okay, just give me direction, folks, and we'll do what you want me to do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Speaking of direction, in the committee meeting last night, was everybody okay with buying these air packs, or?
Say that again?
Was this air pack thing approved by the Board of Safety?
Yeah, and so I did get a phone call.
Chuck Beckert and I couldn't make it because we had another meeting to attend
Okay.
with the town council.
So I did speak with Norm Stick, President of Board of Safety today. He did reach out to me after the email thread that was going back and forth with questions about the numbers of air packs and everything else. And I did not get a chance to watch it yet, the Board of Safety meeting. He filled me in that they were okay with it in as far as the 27 and stuff. So Norm did explain that to me.
Well, here's my concern. I mean, if we have the potential to save $40,000 by committing to purchase, if we're gonna make this purchase anyway, if we're gonna save $40,000 by committing to it before, what was it, the 20th?
Yes.
We probably should take action on that tonight in an effort to save that money, shouldn't we?
I would agree.
Do we need a motion to amend the agenda again?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, because I didn't do it the first time, but I did want to.
It needs to be more part like this, yes.
Yeah, I guess I'll make a motion to amend the agenda to consider another item.
Okay. We have a motion to amend the agenda to consider the air pack purchase.
To consider another item.
Or another item?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Parker, seconded by Mr. Teal. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Ricciuto?
Yes, motion carries 7-0.
Okay.
Floor is yours.
Well, it doesn't, I mean, doesn't necessarily have to be me, I just,
Well, I would think, as the proposal that, Chief Rookening and, Assistant Chief Mauger shared, without having it in front of me right now, do you have that proposal?
Yes.
I do.
You could authorize myself for the council president to sign these moving forward, so.
and not to exceed $415,045.
It's coming your way, Greg.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe round it up a little more, I don't know. That's it, Greg, if you wanna see it, I've seen it. Or you wanna see
Yeah,
it?
no, if he's gonna make the motion, then he's gonna need it, it'll be
Well,
easier.
I'm fine with you making the motion. I mean, you have more information on this than I do.
Okay.
Give it to him then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure I read it correctly.
I just don't, I mean, I wanna take advantage of the $40,000 savings. And get them the safety equipment that they need in case a catastrophe would happen.
I was looking for a quote number on here.
It'll be at the top right hand corner.
It's $415,000.
No, I'm looking for the quote, Bob.
Oh.
Estimate number.
There you go.
Okay, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion, to approve the spending on the quote from McQueen, estimate number 027991, in the amount of $415,000, hold on one second, put a comma in there. $415,045.00.
All right.
My bad here, I can't hear.
Not to exceed.
That's the amount that he's got.
That is the amount on the quote.
And that's for 27, air packs
That is correct.
I'll second that.
and accessories.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Teal, seconded by Mr. Parker, to approve, the purchase of, or the purchase from McQueen, estimate number 070-27991, the dollar amount of $415,045, correct?
Correct.
Okay, any discussion?
Could, there be an addition for a signature? I mean, I guess if there's a PO written, it'll be signed by the.
That's where it would come from, is the PO from you, right?
So since it's end of the year, everything's shut down already so that we can close and have.
How do we handle this then by the 20th then, if that's the
They just
deadline?
need a signature, they don't need the munch.
So we can do signature from council president?
We can, yep,
And then
or myself or him,
Once everything
yep.
opens back up in January, we can put it into the requisition system.
Okay, I'd amend my motion for
Let
that.
Nick do the signing.
Yeah.
Okay. You amend your motion
Yes, I
to
do.
include signature of council president?
Yes.
Mr. Parker, you accept that?
Yes.
Okay. Motion is amended to, instruct the council president to sign it for this purchase. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julia Rivera?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Oh, yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Nick Recupedo?
Yes, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you very much, council. You just made a huge investment in your firefighters and the community. Again, to be commended that we're getting things done for the department. I know it was a donation, but you all have a duty, and you did it tonight, and I really appreciate it, so do they. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Chief. Okay, Ms. Ray, Parks Department.
Accepting donations, we'll start with that. I just want to let you know that I had submitted the annual report for the Parks Department to the Park Board and Council. I know that you're busy preparing for tonight's meeting, so that is in your email inbox. Feel free to reach out to me and ask any questions after a quite lengthy document you received from me. And I just want to wish you the happy holidays that are coming upon us.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Ms. Ray.
I prefer that over a happy holiday.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Ray. Any questions for her? All right, we'll move on to written communication, Building Department report, Christopher B. Burke report. Jeff, you wanna go over them real quick, any of the high points? Or is it-
This was just received, by me in my office today, 3 o'clock, so,
I didn't get it.
that doesn't surprise me. I think Don was, with the number of meetings he had on our behalf the last few days, it's actually quite commendable that he was even able to put something together for us, so we had something tonight, so, he's a good man to have at the helm of what he does for us here. But, the highlight that I wanted to cover is that under Community Crossing Grants 2024-2, Phase 2 of the Shade Subdivision Project was submitted, for consideration on July 30th with a construction estimate of $1.583 million. We did get 50% funding of that. We were notified on November 7th. So our full request of $791, $789, and 69 cents was fulfilled with a match, 50-50 match from the CM Community Crossing Grants Program. Project will go out to hopefully as early as next month. Project will be on February 18th Town Council meeting for award, and this contract must be executed by March 7th. So this is going to move pretty fast for you all. So
He's moving right along with that.
Yep, that was a pretty good one.
And then there will be 2025 grant applications accepted. Did you say anything about that?
Haven't got that far yet, but I know we did a lot of pre-qualifying for a lot of DPG and road safety upcoming programs and grants, and that was all done with a lot of our the safety studies that were done through and completed last year. The other one that's of pretty good significance is in-depth safety project notice for funding availability. CBEL submitted 3 applications on behalf of the town for the NOFA on October the 11th. In-depth allocated $50 million for the entire state, which makes this an extremely competitive call. The two of the 3 that we put in for this NOFA were awarded. So signage and striping modifications from Lakeshore Drive and Klein Avenue, Hilltop to West 129th in the amount of just over $30,000 total project costs, with an estimated funding of $28,000 with the town share of $2,800, and that application was awarded. So we will be seeing progress and movement on that here probably in the first quarter of next year.
That sounded like a 90-10 match.
That's a 90-10 match. Signage and striping modification, pavement restoration on Parish Avenue from the town limits to approximately west of 120, $62,000. And the town share is $16,200, again, a 90-10 match. And this application was awarded funding, so that's another one that's going to be coming to our fair streets in the next few months. That's what you wanted was the highlights. That's done.
Okay, and then you guys are gonna get the road street committee together, come up with some ideas for projects, and then Jennifer, tomorrow night, Jennifer, you had asked to be kept in the loop on this, what projects we were considering?
Yeah, if you want us to be able to take a closer look at CDIT, see if there's any availability to move expenses from the general fund to CDIT, I have to know what capital projects you plan on completing.
Okay. So Jeff, we'll have to keep that in mind with Don, let Don know about that. But seizing on these opportunities to get grant money seems to be a no-brainer if we can do it.
Absolutely.
You know?
And Tim, I told you need to be at that meeting, so it's gonna be a long night for us tomorrow.
I'm thinking about just sitting here till then.
Okay, you got that.
Where's the roll of this?
All right, thank you, Mr. Bungie. We will open up the floor to public comment for the...
Wait a minute, what about, the building department?
It's in the packet.
Yeah, but, I wanted, it's 192, for the year, new construction permits? And so, if that's 192, didn't we only estimate 100?
You did.
So, we did a lot better than what we estimated. I wanted that highlighted.
Did a good job with your report, Tim.
I shut my computer off 20 minutes ago. The battery was dead already.
Okay, I just wanted that highlighted.
Oh, all right, thank you, Mr. Carnahan. If anyone up here for public comment, please step up.
Sorry.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay. So I got a new way of doing this. I'm just gonna read what I wrote.
Okay, man.
All right. My name is Angeline Marie Michaelichak. I live at 12806 Lee Court in Cedar Lake, Indiana, 46303. The subdivision I live in is in Lee Cove. My ward number 1 representative is Robert Carnahan. I believe that I have been treated unfairly in many ways by the town of Cedar Lake, and I am kindly asking for your attention. Although I have tried to remedy this matter in person and in emails without speaking in public comment, nothing has been done to remedy this situation, which is the reason I stand before you today. I have been a single mother of 3 beautiful children for 25 years. In 2021, with my savings, I purchased my first home for $325,000 that was built in 2010, according to permit number 10-015 in Cedar Lake's permit database. Due to the many questions I had regarding our property, I made an official records request with the town for our property records, and a response was given only an initial permit application from 2007, and with an additional records request, a sewer application from 2009, and the town stated no further records exist, which only left me with further questions on how someone could be living in a house possibly as earlier as 3 years before it was officially and legally built. A copy of this permit from 2010, labeled Complete House, has never been provided to me. I am also requesting any assistance for us to get copies of all property records, including contractor information, permits, any violations issued, and public meeting minutes that reflect no more development in Lee Cove, and any records that may reflect the adjoining property was condemned, as stated to me by a nearby resident. Today I am bringing only one item to your attention that indicates unfairness towards me, which is a written violation I find to be unreasonable. I received a red tag this year for a fence, which was posted in the early morning after a late-night public meeting where I spoke against the town-approved contractor. Please note, there was no verbal warning given to me at any time prior to receiving this red tag. I immediately contacted the town to explain that the fence was there when I purchased the property. I was told it did not matter. There was no permit for it. How could this be even determined if there are no other records available to me? The town served a red tag on our house. I went into the town hall to discuss it. The town came to our property to discuss it, and I had to answer for this fence, which I stated the panel was merely left to shade a blue hosta I planted in front of it, which needed to be completely shaded to flourish. Since the town had an issue with this fence panel, and I didn't want to press this issue at the time, I just removed the fence panel from the property. It was said in public hearing by the town that it was my neighbor that complained about this fence. I questioned why my neighbor also didn't receive a red tag violation for their fence, but I was told by the town not to worry about it. And I'd like to show you these images.
Yes, ma'am.
Here, there's enough for everyone.
Spread them out? Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. everybody got their papers?
Yeah, they're okay.
Thank you. I'm almost finished. Here is a GIS image of our property, reflecting the fence that was in violation. Notice it is not actually a fence, but a lone fence panel next to our home, not encroaching on other properties or in an easement. And here also is a GIS image of my neighbor's property, reflecting a large, non-permitted fence erected in our subdivision's drainage easement and extending over several property lines. Although previously brought to the town's attention, no red tag has ever been issued for the violations, including a trespass violation. This property is currently on the market in Lee Cove and also unfairly manipulates the fair market value of homes in Lee Cove by non-permitted items, even besides this fence. That is unfair to the market value of our home. Also, instead of kicking the can down the road for the future property owner to also face a no permit violation red tag, I am kindly requesting this matter be remedied by the town also issuing this property owner, which is attempting to sell the property, a written red tag violation immediately. Not just a verbal warning, as had been done before by the town for this property owner for other building and zoning violations. This property is currently owned by currently approved town contractor Bruce R. Young, under various company names such as Price Point Builders. I firmly believe there has been much favoritism shown by the town for this contractor that is not even a current resident in Cedar Lake, rather resides in Crown Point. Therefore, I am sincerely and publicly requesting your assistance with this matter in hopes to reflect fairness in Cedar Lake and to consider those to be held accountable for the unreasonable unfairness directed towards me for merely attempting to protect my investment. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am.
I wanted to wrap this up before the end of the year because this is something that happened this year. And I want to say, which I don't have written down, well, I know a lot of people, oh, here she is at it again, maybe roll their eyes, maybe upset. This particular situation and me receiving this red tag this year was very upsetting to me. It was so upsetting to me, I came into the town hall to speak to Mr. Bungie right away. Upon leaving the town hall, I couldn't even drive home. I had my friend Marie, I don't know if she's still here, she came, and I explained to her, my boyfriend's at work, my kids are at work, my son's at school. I can't get out of this driveway. I was so upset. She asked me, where are you right now? I explained to her I was sitting in front of town hall. And she came and talked to me and joked with me, just enough for me to go home. This is a very touching situation for me because I've never received any building and code violations before. And I just felt like I was treated very unfairly, never to even be recognized for it or even receive an apology. So that's why I wanted to bring it to your attention tonight.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Would you come up here and show Judy and I where this fence is, because we can't figure it out?
Which
fence
is here? The fence panel.
Attorney Austin, I know this is probably a GIS photo, and sometimes the lines are, they may not be too accurate. This looks pretty off.
Yeah. I would say that the, west side could be a discrepancy of, feet sometimes on GIS, but the east side of the property is, there's no question.
So what do we do from here if we see that there looks like there's a plain violation, clear violation?
The building department needs to go out and do its job.
Tomorrow,
Yep, can I get a copy of it?
do we mind if you share one of these with us?
No, because I gave them to them before.
Okay,
In fact, my house one is what he gave me, so.
okay.
Is everyone clear on what 12806 photo image, what my fence panel is, that I got a red tag violation on?
Barely visible?
Honestly, I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Parker, are you aware? Can I show you?
Yes, please. Is it right here?
No. It's, here, where's my house, right here. My fence panel.
Okay.
That's what I got the red tag violation for.
Well, they're gonna go out there tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay?
And I do also want to say, I'm not trying to make this personal issue, I really am not. I haven't named any names, I haven't said anything. But I do want to give recognition to the building department, or, I'm sorry, Public Works for, I had requested some trees to be removed on Vermillion that were dead, and those were taken care of immediately. So I don't want to go sit down without saying that I do appreciate the town's work that they do in other areas.
Okay.
Thank you.
Andy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we did, I had some discussion with a couple council members about removing that red tag from you, but no action was ever taken here at a council meeting.
Okay, I appreciate that, Mr. Carnahan. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Tim, you go with the direction we gave you?
Yep.
Okay, very good. Okay, anyone else for public comment for the town council? Last call. Jennifer, nobody online?
Nope.
Okay, our next meeting will be, well, we have a special meeting December 23rd. The next regularly scheduled meeting will be Tuesday, January 7th, 2025 at 7 p.m. And if I don't see you, I wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.